What up, Nine?
Trapaholics Mixtapes.
As the 9% and word would say, make a better you, a better us.
Give them what they ask for.
Who do you think you are? I'm the word. Who am I? I'm the one who put in the word.
When I move, is it a quick rumble? I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title, we about to get into it. But before we get into that, let me get into the chat. Mr. 33 himself, Mr. Gary Busted Down Brown, what it do with the business is, 9. Appreciate you, bro. Frankie Blanco, top 5 alive. I debate anybody. What up, my brother? What up? I seen the one and only. That's my 9, the Minister, the General of Defense is in the building. What up, 9? What up, Commander? Appreciate you. Hey, so this was spin off from last night, right? Last night we talked about what builds character, right? And this came up in the conversation, right? And it's a question, this is part of reflection, right? What you made of, man? What you made of, and are you what you present yourself to be? I'll be the first to tell you we got 3 sides, right? We got that public side that everybody see. We got that private side that only the people we intimate see. And then we got the hidden side that very few see, if none. We got that side too. So, what side is really you is the question. Is people really what they present themselves to be? And how do you present yourself is my question. Is it with words or is it with action? I think this conversation is important for a couple reasons. Dee, what up, though, sis? Dee. What up, Dee? Appreciate you, sis. But I think this question is important because, oftentimes people project things. You know, sometimes they project accurate versions of themselves. Sometimes they project versions of themselves they wish they would or could be. Sometimes, um, yeah, I'm gonna just rock with those two right now. We get to the third later. But yeah, people definitely project themselves. But what are you projecting? Um, and how do you hold yourself accountable to being authentic to yourself? Right? You know, some people make justifications like, you know, this is just but using, you know, this app for instance. You know, you hear some people say, I come on here and I'm just me. You know, then you hear some people say, you know, they come on here for this or you know, and that's their niche, right? You know, they'll tell you like, look, this is what I do on here, but this ain't what I really am. And then you got some people who will flat out tell you like, this ain't real, right? So there's a difference between the people who claim they act like this, they don't take it serious, and this ain't real, than the people who come on here with the intentions like, hey, I'm gonna do this and do this and do this because that's how I'm gonna get what I want out of it. You know, they're being real. Like, look, yeah, I probably wouldn't do this in real life, but I'm on here. This is more like a job to me. I'm doing this to generate some type of income. That's like an actor almost, right? But an actor know they're an actor when they act. There's a difference between that and then people who just come on here and, you know, excuse their bad behavior by simply saying this ain't real. You know, there's a difference between those people. You gotta be aware of who you're dealing with, and you gotta be aware of yourself too. You know, you gotta keep it real with yourself. But yeah, this conversation is an open panel. The link is pinned, and I'm gonna start it off like this. A lot of my hidden self is still hidden, you know, but I understand this about that aspect of myself, that hidden self. I only really hid things that hurt me. Right? I'm being transparent. I hid things that hurt me, things I ain't healed from, but eventually all that stuff will be in the light, right? You know, that's the goal, that's the plan. Our hidden self, oftentimes, for me, you know, I used to feel like everybody didn't need to know everything, which they don't. Everybody don't need to know anything about you. But the people close to you, they should know you. And there's some things you might have to protect them, right? So, like, my hidden self isn't any aspects of me like I'm embarrassed or I'm ashamed, but it's things that can hurt me and hurt other people. So, those things, in my opinion, should always stay hidden, you know. But if it's has a negative effect on you, you got to work on that. And some of the hidden aspects of myself, like I said, that's why they're there for me to work on. You know, so I understand that with them people. You know, I don't be want to know everything about everybody anyway. I'm gonna be honest with you because you know I don't know if it's just me being raised in an environment I am, but some information, man, I don't want it because I don't want to have to deal with the consequences or repercussions that come behind it. You know, I'd rather be ignorant in some instances when it comes to other people's life. You know, I just rather be ignorant. It's just some things I don't need to know. You know, um, because once you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? So once you know, you know. So yeah, some things I don't think people should be totally transparent with everybody and everything. That's not what I'm saying. Right? But what I am saying is this: those hidden aspects of yourself, if they define who you are, they're not truly hidden because it's gonna come out the light. That's why I said the thing. I don't hide things because I'm embarrassed or ashamed. You know, I hide things because the impact it had in my life, and I'm working on not allowing it to make me like depressed or sad or you know hurt. You know, those things I do believe. I tell you, don't give the people the weapon of your own destruction. Don't give people the weapon of your own destruction. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nah, you know. But then let's go to the private self. You know that's more of you, who you are, in more intimate settings like family, close friends, you know. So it's not really hidden because it's exposed to people. They just know you on a more intimate level, you know. My private self, a lot of my private self is online, you know, a lot of my private self. People, I mean, you come in here and talk to me, you know, you'll see a lot of my private self. I'm gonna share my name, my upbringing, my back, all that stuff, man. I just shared that with y'all, you know. Um, I'm interested to hear how people, you know, hide their private self or what they do with their private self. I'm interested to hear that because, you know, like I said, everybody don't need to know everything, but the people you're intimate with, they should know something. They should know, you know, mostly. I ain't gonna say mostly everything, but they should know a lot about you because those are the people you're intimate with. You know, it might be a situation where the information they know can help you. You know, so and then you get your public self. That's just the aspect of you who everyone sees. You know, that's the aspect of you everyone sees. But um, are any of those really authentic? That's my question to people. Like this is the thing. You have to build yourself, your experiences, your knowledge, your wisdom, uh, your different traits about that's all your makeup. That's what make you up. Well, and that's why I say we all different. We all can have similarities, but ultimately we different. We handle situations different. We go through things differently. You know, we approach things differently. You know, so it ain't life is not a one size fit all. But those diverse traits, those diverse perceptions, we can help one another. You know, but not if you false. You know, we was talking. Forgot no last night. You know, when we was talking about how in certain fields you should have a level of experience, right? Like I can't tell you how to have a successful marriage if I never had one. I can't do that. You know, I know doctor, the heart surgeon, he was huge. You know, he was big. And I'm like, bro, you telling people to lose weight because they heart and this and that and that and this, and look at you. You know, and sometimes people know how to do better because they did worse. So they can tell you what not to do to put yourself in the position they in, but ultimately they can't tell you how to go further than that. All right, but people will project themselves as they do. You know, people will project themselves as compassionate, as humble, as polite, as a gentleman, as a lady. They project themselves like that. But when it comes time to show, can they show it? Can you show it? That's what I said. Are you what you present yourself to be? Are you? And you know, that's how I question myself. And that's why I said reflection is important because without awareness, ain't nothing gonna get done. If you ain't aware you got a problem, it ain't nothing to fix. So you have to be aware. The only way you can be aware if you observe. And a lot of times, like we was talking last night, observing yourself. Observing yourself. You know, looking at your flaws. It's easier to spot someone else's, right? But you ever ask your question, how do you even know? How you even know? You can spot other people's flaws, right? How are you aware of that? Is it because you have a lot of similarities to that person? And a lot of times people will judge other people to make themselves feel better about their situation or position. You know, like last night, that's what I was asking, like, when do you judge? When do you look at another person and say, well, you X, Y, and Z? When do you do that? You know, and that's a question, honest question. When do you look at other people and decide to judge them? Because if your attention is fixated on you, you know, you ain't really got that much time to do that. Not for me. Like I said, if it's something that has an effect, then I understand. You know, you have to make a decision whether to rock with it or not. I understand that, but Even the way you hear, like, you go through this YouTube thing and people be critiquing everybody, and I be thinking like, and then those same people who be critiquing, when somebody critique them, they get upset, and it's like, why are you getting upset? You should be fine, right? Because you do it. That's why I ask people, like, if I do something and somebody do it to me, I'd be like, damn, should I open the window? You know, that's how they came in, because the window was open. You don't open your window, ain't nothing coming in. Or you open your window to do something, that's like, if you open your window and throw something at somebody and somebody throw it right back at you and hit you, then make sure you open the window. And that's how it happens a lot in life. Happens a lot like that in life. Where people criticize, judge, point the finger at other people. Like Ozzy said, my grandmother used to tell me that. Stop pointing fingers at people, because you point one at them, but you got three more pointing back at you. When I got older, I realized that she because my grandmother, she talked shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. She talked shit, but to pass judgment on someone, I never really seen her do that. The window was wide open. Just being online. By me hitting live, talk, anything I say, I expect people to come through and critique it. I expect that. That's expected. That's expected for people to come through and critique. To even challenge. I open myself to that. So that's facts. Just coming online. Type it in the chat. If somebody is like, I've learned this by being in these different chats, right? If somebody is talking about somebody, I ain't got no opinion, man. I'm straight. I don't know these people. I'm good. Because even if you listen to the context of what the person is saying, you respond to the context and not actually to the individual person. People got feelings, man. I can't tell nobody how to feel. I did that before. I listened to the context, and even the way I replied, it was more, I didn't say nothing about the person. I'm just saying in that situation, X, Y, and Z could have occurred. That's all I said. Then the person got all upset and mad because I didn't agree with them and started trying to go in on me. And I'm like, bro, ain't that why we having a conversation? I was naive when I first came on here. I didn't know a lot of these YouTube, like people say they want, this is what I'm talking about. These YouTubers, oh yeah, I want your comments. I want this, I want that. As soon as you don't agree with them, they get all pissed off. They get all mad and angry. They want to block you out the chat because you don't agree with them. Like, hold on, I thought that's what the chat was for. It was for us to express our different opinions and views so we can get clarity, get understanding. We can learn. Nah, I ain't know everybody wasn't like that. So I watch how I comment and where I comment now. Sometimes, most of the time, I just listen, man. I just listen. Because it's like, bro, I ain't trying to get into it with nobody online over no stupid stuff. Like, I mean, you putting stuff out there. Like if I put, people be tripping me out. They talk about don't, like, even like when I'm saying judge, right? I don't do it. I don't say, but I'm not saying it's not right for anyone else to do it. I'm just telling you about me. I don't do the judging. But like I told you also, if I put content on here, I expect people to critique it. So if you come on here doing some dumb shit, right? You come on here and you being, neglectful to your kids, and then people start judging you or saying stuff about that, then that's that you open that window. You did that. If you come on here, talking about somebody else went to jail and somebody else pulled your paperwork and you went to jail for some unscrupulous shit, you put yourself in that position. If you was coming on here talking about bike tires, they probably would have never looked you up. Oftentimes, this is just how it works. Oftentimes when people talking about somebody or pointing the finger, some people go back and see, they want to check the source, right? They want to see if it's a reliable source. So what they do is go see about the person who, talking about everybody else. And you come to find out a lot of times, I've only been on here for 2 years, I done seen like at least 20 people get exposed. I'm on here talking about somebody else. I've seen people expose themselves. We know the big names like Derrick Jackson, right? He came on here talking all this mess, and then he got exposed. On an echo chamber, yeah. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do no echo chamber. I'd be interested, like, even like in here, I would before I would let people have, even if it's like wrong, and people say this ain't right, but even if something is wrong and I see a person feel strongly about it, I don't bother them, man. That's their shit, right? Even if it go against mine, but this is what makes them better. I don't care if I know, bro. I know, like, even talking about religion and spirit, I know a lot about that shit. I could debunk a lot of it easily. But when that's their belief and that's making them better, I talk to them about it. Like historical, like, come on, man. We know what it is. And if you don't, then I mean that's on you. You know, I try not to get in too many of those conversations. But it's just things that exist and things that don't. You know what I'm saying? But when people like, hey, I use this for this and I believe in this because of this and it does this for me and that's results, baby. That's what we look for in life. You can listen to what I'm saying. You can read a damn Disney book and learn a life lesson and apply it and make you a better person. On some real shit. You can read a little kid's book and then have a life lesson in it. So this is the reality for me. If you can put something into play and get results from it and it better you, who am I? Who am I? I mean, shit, you got results. That's something that we can observe. I ain't got nothing to say. Shit, that shit work for you. Let me try it. It might work for me too. That's how I think. Like, hold on, bro. You telling me if I believe in the Easter Bunny, or if I say 12 prayers to the Easter Bunny a day, I can get 100K. And I do that shit a day and get 100K. Shit, I'll be praying to the Easter Bunny. You got me fucked up. I'm just playing. I'm joking. Bad joke. But what I'm saying is, look, some people, they need to validate themselves by using other people. Either people praising them or they stepping on them. People need that. You know, I cringe when people say we all want to be liked. I cringe, but it's the truth. You know, we want to be liked by somebody. You know, but just the way in the context people put that in, I hate when people say, "This is just me." I hate when people have, like, we all have our little inferiors, right? We might be inferior in certain areas. We all got that, right? But I hate when people just don't take accountability and say we need to work on this instead of saying I need to work on it. Even if I know that we all do something, I'm still saying I need to work on it because I'm not going to not work on it just because we not working on it. And when people say we need to, it's like a group project. Nah, man. Self-development itself, we can come together and share information and learn tools, but I have to do the work. Commander can't do the work for me. Gary can't do the work for me. None of the 9 can do the work for me. I got to do it for my goddamn self. All they can do is contribute to the motivation, the inspiration, and the education of me developing myself. That's all they can do. I don't do the work. Nothing they do matters. That's just reality. So I hate when I hear people say, well, we need to do this. No, we don't need to do shit. I don't suffer. I got my own problem. I admit I got my own things I'm working on, but it's levels to this, man. It's levels. And when I hear people, to me, it just sounds like excuses. It sounds like excuses. They project themselves one way, but then they tell you we need to work on something another way. Like, nah, bro, you need to work on that shit. I been did that work. I'm on a whole nother chapter. You can catch up if you stop saying we and just put the work in. You can catch up. Shit, I'm trying to catch up to other people. But we ain't got to do nothing. I or you have to do it. You just have to do the work. I or you have to do the work. That's what it is. But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. It ain't the petty hour, but I want to be a little petty. Shout out to Nate the Great. He done did it again. I don't know what's wrong with Nate, but he gonna learn one day. Oh, it didn't even load up. He gonna learn one day. It's gonna be all right. Po little tink tink. Po little tink tink. I thought I had this video loaded up. My bad. But yeah, what y'all think, man? I see Commander Rock in the chat with me. What y'all think? Oh, that's me. I'm like, who popped up here? Do you feel like you oh, there he go. There he go. You ready, Nate? We got another one. This is just a clip, bro. You making me make a movie for you. I ain't want to make a movie for you, but it's just a rough draft. You ready for the second rough draft? You ready, Nate? Here we go. Shout out to Nate the Great.
Word, what's going on, my guy? I'm glad you popped up in here. I told your ass I had a drop for your ass, too. Don't
He will never learn.
You work for me now, Gary.
I'm the puppet master. You listen to me.
Oh, little tank, ain't that a bitch?
Oh, little tank. That's just a rough draft, son. I told you. You can be AI God all you want. I'm clip God. Anything you create, I'm a clip. Yay, what up, though? Ozzy. Oi. What up, though, brother? Appreciate you. Commander, that's just a rough draft. I threw that together in like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I threw that together. Imagine what I'm about to do with that. That's just a couple clips I'm going to use for the second one. I'm not even done with the first one yet. You remember the first one, don't you, Nate? You remember the first one? Right. If you don't remember, then here you go.
You said don't go in the lab. You can't go in the lab, son. You can't do that. Because guess what? I think I got somebody that's going to steal the lab.
Don't agree? You know what? I guess y'all must have forgot.
It's with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I'm the word. I'm the one who put in the work.
Yeah, I used to voice props to the boy Sean. He made it a hot line, I made it a hot song. He made it a hot line, I made it a hot song.
created that. But wait, there's more.
Bastards doubt me, I'm a hustler. Ask about.
Hell no. No, I'm not touching this.
Get you a word. Nana, nana, boo boo.
Yeah, that was the first one. Second one shorter. I just throw it together just to pick with Nick. But yeah, yeah. So that's the question I'm posing. What are you? You know, what you made of, man? Are you what you present yourself to be, or are you much more? You know, people can dummy themselves down too. You know what I'm saying? People can definitely do that. Are you more than what you present yourself to be, or are you less? You know, I always say the actions tell the story of a person. You know, what people do, especially in times of adversity. You know, we was talking about character. You know, I like to see people on the hot seat, bro. I like to see if people panic. Look, check this out. Let me tell y'all the story. So I remember when I was first start working in the hospital, right? I was getting, you know, you got to get like CPR training and all that. So the girl training me in CPR, I worked with her. She was an X-ray tech. I was a transporter at the time. So, you know, she teaching us CPR. She all confident, telling us what we doing right, what we doing wrong, right? And then like 2 weeks later, I'm sitting there waiting for the patient to get the X-ray and go back. Then I hear the girl screaming. So I run back there. I'm thinking like, because sometimes the patients get combative, right? So I'm thinking like, you know, when the tech scream, that's what you assume, right? So I run in there, and the same lady who was training me in CPR was like, he stopped breathing. I'm like, why you ain't doing CPR? She's like, I don't know. So I jumped on the table, started doing CPR. I'm like, nah, man, we got to get him down to recess. And the recess is right down the hall. You know, I worked in the emergency department. So the recess is right, the resuscitation module. That's where they take the codes and real bad shit to come in the hospital, right? So we put him on the gurney, and I'm doing chest compressions on the way to recess. I don't know if I got him back, but they end up getting him back, you know. But he was on that table for like a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. So they got his pulse, they got a pulse back, but he was down too long. So he ended up having brain damage, and he didn't recover from it. So he never came out the coma. But the same person who was teaching me CPR, and the time where she needed to do it, she freaked out. Couldn't do it. Started screaming, yelling. She could have saved that man's life. She would have started CPR, or at least put him on the gurney and push him down the hall. She freaked out, started calling for help. But you're in the position of training people to do what you couldn't do in the moment. Isn't that ironic? And to be honest with you, I've seen that a lot. Like, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but I've seen 2 residents, surgical residents. They didn't went to school for like 8 to 10 years just to get in this position. You know, it's a position of prestige. Even as a resident, you're still a doctor, right? So this is a position. So you get a little, you know, clout with that. You get a little clout with that. But as soon as they go cut open a person, 2, one was a girl, one was a dude. As soon as they didn't even cut the patient, but as soon as they seen the blood, they passed out. Like, you went to school for 8 to 10 years to be in this position. And as soon as you get the position to actually do the work, you can't even do it. You know, that's why I say a lot of people talk a good game. Like, you know, growing up, they used to tell us the person that's screaming the loudest, they're not screaming because they want to fight. They're trying to convince you not to fight them because they can't fight. You know, the person talking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, the loudest person. They said they call the dog to bark the loudest. Barking loud because they ain't got no bite. So is the person constantly describing what they will do in situations. I like to see them in them situations. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when you in those situations. How you respond or how you react. How do you handle adversity? You know, we talked about that many times. What adversity is. You know, my brother Gary, he'll tell you adversity creates diversity, right? And I agree with that because even thinking about back in my life, it was times where I was faced with an obstacle and what I knew didn't work. I couldn't get over the hump with what I knew, so I had to go learn something else. And that's what got me over the hump. I had to look at the situation in a different perspective. And that's how I got over the hump. But it wasn't the way I knew. So that situation made me diverse. It made me go learn something new. That's what adversity does. Become diverse from adversity. You have to first understand it's an opportunity. If you don't understand this is an opportunity for me to be diverse, this is an opportunity to see what I got, to see what I'm made of. If you don't use that as an opportunity, then it's just going to be a problem. It's just going to be a problem. You got a problem. And what people do with most problems, you can do a couple things. You can solve the problem, or people just walk away and leave it, or they look for somebody else to solve it for them. A lot of times, especially nowadays, everybody want everybody else to solve their problem. That's why people shout out. I forgot who that. Oh, that was King Blackout. Shout out to Blackout, man, because he was saying like, even if you go get a self-help book, that's still someone else helping you. That's not you helping yourself. Shout out to him for saying that, and that's true. The only thing I will add to that is at least that person got the desire to seek help. You know, I would agree it's not helping yourself. You know. But I will say at least a person looking for a way to help themselves. You know, that's when people come to me as a life coach. They're looking for a different way. What they was doing and what they was offered and what's around them, guess what? It wasn't helping them. So this is what happens. A lot of times we put ourselves in these boxes. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And that's exactly how you approach life. From that perspective, from whatever you describe yourself as. You fall into that box. You fall into the lines. Well, since I'm this, I got to do it this way. Since I'm that, I got to do it this way. That's how people live life. That's why I said be careful with them boxes, man. That's why I don't put myself. People say, well, you still in the box. Okay, I'm just not in the box somebody else created. I'm in the box I created myself. I'm fine with that. I can be in that box. I can be in a box I created myself. That way I can make enough room in it for me to be comfortable. If that's the case. You know, I still don't feel like I'm in a box. You know, physically, yeah, I'm in a house, I guess. So I am in a box. No offense to anyone, but they say those who teach can't. God is D. What up, sis? What up, sis? My bad, I missed you. Hold on, Commander. I missed that part. I know I said something that you responded to it. No offense to anyone, but they say those who teach can't. Give me a little context to that. I know I said something and that was a response to it, but yeah, those boxes, man. Be careful with those boxes. You know, don't get too comfortable with them. Be willing to create your own box. Like that's why I say the society. You know, most people looking for somebody else to solve their problem. They don't want to put the work in. Because that's where you learn all the lessons, man. It's in the journey. The journey of you becoming the best version of yourself, that's where all the lessons come from. But if you never take that trip, if you just teleport, you get none of the lessons. So are you really that? You know, like for me to be, for me to even consider myself a philosopher, right? I got to put some work in. You know, I got to put work in. For me to be a doctor, I got to go to school, get that paperwork to be called a doctor. For me to be a lawyer, I got to go to school. I got to put work in. Oftentimes people, shout out to Gary, he say people want titles, but they don't want the roles. You know, people want these titles of things, but they don't even live up to it. They don't live up to it. I'm a man, but you acting like a boy. You living like a boy. You talking like a boy, but you call yourself a man. Same thing for women. You know, people want to be called queens, but carrying themselves like peasants. People want to be called kings, but carrying themselves like thugs. You want the title, but you don't want the role, because the role come with work. You have to fill the role or fulfill the role, and that requires action. It's your deeds. It's what you do. It's what you do. But, and it's a benefit. Like we even talked about, you know, don't fake it till you make it. We had an interesting, shout out to Commander. You know, we had an interesting conversation about that also. You know, faking it till you make it. And I said it was bad because a lot of times people assume that title, but they never build themselves up to really personify it. They never acquire the traits, the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom. No, because they just got the title. What they need all that for? What they need all that for if they was given a title? You already got in your head you this. You'll never build yourself up to it. I ain't gonna say never. Some people probably would. No, I ain't gonna say never. Can't put a blanket on it. But a common folk, nah. Common folk, nah, they won't build themselves up to it. So you acting like you one thing, but you don't have the skills, the knowledge, the traits, the abilities to fulfill the role of the title you assume. Can you imagine you call yourself a doctor and then somebody come in dying and they ask you to save their life? You parade around like, I'm a doctor, and people believe you. So now somebody can't breathe and you don't even know CPR, but you're a doctor. That's what happens a lot. Even on this app, like I said, people get exposed all the time. A lot of times people expose themselves. Vegan, what up, though? Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Well, people will expose themselves. Just give them time. Give them time. Give people time. No, and see things for what they are. You know, life ain't perfect. No one in life is perfect. But if they ain't progressing, right? If they ain't progressing, then what is it? If a person ain't trying, like I don't mind a person. I don't mind anyone's processing anything. It's not I appreciate the process, the ups and downs of the process. Those people I love supporting because I like to see their journey. It's inspiring. That shit motivating to me. Watching people's journey. You see them putting in the work. That's what pays off. That's where all the lessons are learned. So when they finally get that role, they damn near mastered it. They done went through all the hoops and hurdles. And now they know what they know. But someone just assuming something, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Like, nah, bro. That's like I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I got in a lot of fights in the street. I ain't never lost in the street. I ain't never lost. But in the dojo, man, I got my ass kicked. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got my butt kicked, man. I done lost a whole bunch of fights. I lost more than probably one in the dojo, to be honest with you. Like sparring with people, nah, man. But it was a learning lesson. Like these are skid. Some of these people been fighting since they was 2-3 years since they've been walking. Some of these people are literally prodigies that they live, eat, sleep it. This is what they want to do with their life. You go up against somebody like that, it humbles you. I got kicked so hard one time I blacked out. Like I'm on my feet and I couldn't see nothing. I was blacked out. Like damn, concussion. I knew what it was as soon as I got hit. Knew what it was. Bow. But that's life, man. You build yourself up to that. All that work you put in, it builds the character. Oh, for sure. For sure. It builds character. It gives you experience. With that experience comes wisdom because you practicing what you know over time. The ups, the downs, you know what to expect in the future. You know how things would go. Like working in a hospital, man, they told me so many life lessons. They taught me so many life lessons because just like patience, right? Well, I had a calmness and a patience. I think that's what made me so good in that field is because when shit went crazy, I was always calm, you know. I was always they call it responsive reactive because I can think while I can think on the move. So it's a responsive reaction. Right? You're thinking while you're moving. You're thinking 2 steps ahead. And I don't know if y'all ever been in a position where people's life depended on you. But that can be like I seen people freak out all the time. That wasn't not normal to see people freak the fuck out. Like it's one thing when somebody stopped bleeding. I mean, when somebody stopped breathing, that's one thing. Okay, you know, we gotta do CPR, we gotta get a tube in them. That's one thing. But when somebody come in gushing blood and body parts are coming off, I remember this real bad accident. You know, like under the bridge on the freeway, this truck. I don't know what happened. I lost control and it went and got stuck under there, caught on fire. So when they brought, I think I told the story. When they brought this guy in, man, his arm was like hanging on like by the skin. His arm was like severed. You can see the bones separated. Arm was severed, but it was still connected by the skin. And I'm looking, I thought the guy was black, but he was just burnt. He was burnt real bad. It was a white guy, but shit, his body was charred. And it's like 2 people, when they brought him in the OR, like even the smell was bad. Like I don't know if y'all ever smelled burning flesh, bro. That's one of the worst smells I ever smelled in my life. I done smelled some foul shit, like especially working in the hospital, man. You smell some crazy shit, but like rotten flesh, burnt flesh smells 10 times worse than rotten flesh. I promise you it do. That it took like a day or 2 for that smell to get out my nostrils. That shit was like stuck to my nose hair or something. But anyway. Bringing them in the OR. One nurse passed out, and then I don't know if she fainted. One nurse passed out. She passed out. I don't know why she passed out, but it's different when somebody passed out. They, you know, it's the same thing, passing out and fainting. But like, it's like I don't know. I don't know, man. Like just to see, like she wasn't even going in the room. She just looked at the patient. She was behind the desk. She was the secretary. She seen it and just bam, hit the ground. Like, damn, why everybody dropping? We lost that patient. You know, he didn't make it. He made it through the night, I believe, but I think he passed away the next day. But you see stuff like that all the time. We had people come in with their guts hanging out. We had this guy came in. He fell off. He was working on a telephone pole and fell and got impaled in the rectum by a fence post. They had to cut the fence post off and they brought it in and he was impaled, bro. Like laying on his back screaming. People freaking out like, oh, like, bro, we work in the hospital, in the OR. What is y'all freaking out for? This is the shit we do. This is what we do. You know, this is what we do. But yo, humans, man. You think you about that life until it's time to be about that life. You know, that's a stressful definitely a stressful job, and I was just more or less assisting. I can imagine the doctors, man, the stress and what they got to take on. You know, that's why a lot of them become numb, man. They become numb. We was talking about being desensitized. You almost have to be to do the job the right way. Because if you thinking about, oh my God, this guy's messed up, you ain't gonna be able to fix him, man. You got to be focused. You got to be focused, man. So shout out to all the healthcare workers, man. That's a hell of a job. Shout out to all the response teams too. You know, the police, the firefighters, the ambulance, because those are stressful jobs, man. When people do those jobs correctly, they some special fucking people. I promise you. Everybody can't do it, and you see people like cops talking about, "I'm scared for my life." Fuck you scared for, bro? You a cop. You scared? You shouldn't be doing that job. It's like somebody in the military be like, "I'm scared." No, you don't need to be doing this job. You will get people killed. Everybody ain't meant to do it. Everybody can try it, but everybody ain't meant to do it. I'm just being real. That's when bad shit happens, man. When you have people in the wrong place. When you get, I don't think you shouldn't. You should be confident. That's when bad things happen. When people freak out. When people scared. That's when bad things happen, man. So yeah, those are the questions I'm asking. Like, what are you made of? Like, are you made of what you project, or is that just a projection for the deflection? Do you project something you're not to deflect what you are? People do that oftentimes, right? People will project an image of themselves. So, Commander kind of hit on that the other day. You know, when she was talking about like, pedos being around. You know, people will project like, oh, I'm not like this, or I'm not like that, or I hate these people, I don't like these people, and then they be doing that. As soon as they get offline, they be doing a little freak shit. You know, remember back in the day we used to call, like, people used to say them down low brothers, ain't shit down low no more. But that's why, like, even like I noticed, like, I ain't trying to put nobody on blast, but I ain't gonna say no names, but I used to work with this dude. He would consistently be talking about, and it was like no gay people around. He was always talking about gay people. Right? Always talking about gay people. And one day, one day I was like, damn, bro, why you keep, like, ain't no, like, fuck you keep talking about gay people for, bro? We ain't talking about that shit. Ain't nobody around here gay or nothing. Why you keep talking about it? Damn, you got a problem with them like that? I'm thinking like some gay dude took his girl or something, right? Well, one day he asked me, he was an older gentleman, he asked me like, hey man, you know how to clear out the browser history? I'm like, yeah, I was telling him where to go. I go clear out his browser history. This motherfucker got like Magic Mike dancers and shit in there watching YouTube, like male dancers and shit. And I'm looking, he was like, yeah, my niece was on my phone and she was looking some stuff up. And everything got a timestamp. So I'm looking at it like, damn, she was on your phone at 4 o'clock in the morning? Put your niece on your phone before you don't live with her. You on your phone at 4 o'clock? Nah, bro, you was looking this shit up. And now you're trying to erase it out your browser history because it wasn't only in the browser, it was in the internet search too. I'm like, nah, bro, this wasn't nobody. This is your ass looking this up. Now it makes sense why you keep trying to bash gay people. You think bashing them, making people look at them, won't look at your ass. I don't care what you do, but that should be weird. Like somebody always bashing gay people. Like you got an interest in it. You got to invest something. You got a vested interest in that, don't you? Anybody with that much disdain or hate for people, I don't know. It's either some type of fear or some type of love they trying to hide. They either trying to hide some fear of them or some love. That's why, like, I don't mind racist people. Like, I know racist people be getting under some people's skins. That don't bother me. Half of them, I mean, I believe a large portion of people, if you hate people because of their skin color, something wrong with you. Well, I know a lot of those people that they be inferior. They don't be shit in real life, and they need to blame it on somebody else. The hatred they got for themselves, they got to spread it to somebody else, and that's the most easiest thing. Is to prejudice, be prejudiced, prejudge someone. You don't even fucking know 'em. That just shows a high level of ignorance. You're highly ignorant. That's what it showed me, a high level of fucking ignorance. You don't even know this person. This person can have the key to make your life better. But just because they're a different race, like, nah, bro. No, it don't work like that. But that's how some people operate. That's how some people operate. So, I mean, I just stay the fuck away from people like that. 9 times out of 10, their life ain't shit. Their life ain't gonna never be shit. And like I said, they either feel some type of inferiority towards that race of people, some type of fear, or some type of envy or jealousy. Some type of envy or jealousy. That's why I said I ain't got it in me to be doing all that. I'm straight. I ain't got it in me to just be hating people, just to be hating them. But again, that says a lot about a person's character, though. It says a lot about a person's character. If you can sit there and hate someone because of their color, that say more about you than them. Yeah, I don't see how people don't see that. Even if and I know oftentimes, situations that happen, right? There's a reason sometimes people have this thing. Like, I was talking to this one white guy, and he told me this horrible story about, one of his loved ones being abused and unalived, by a black man. So he said he hated black people. And until he met me, he never really gave black people a chance that's just his ignorance, no? That's just his ignorance. I mean, I can understand from that standpoint because there's a lot of stories like that. Like Ozzy came up here and told about what's his name, that actor, Liam Neeson, and then he even admitted he was just ignorant. What up, Nine?
What up, Nine? I'm here, Nine.
You here chillin'? What you think about part 2?
Well, I kind of been like a little distracted, so I've been in and out of listening um, to everything. Trying to get some time to come up here, but yeah, like what I was saying is that like some people will say, and I think there's some truth to it. Obviously, there's always, like you said, duality, or like um, there's two sides. They say people who teach can't. Like they teach because they can't. That's why they teach.
Oh, because they
And
can't do.
yeah, now I do think there's people like that, and then I think there's not people like that. There's people that like either they don't do it anymore because they used to, or they have
Hmm.
their reasons why they teach. Maybe they're just better at teaching. I mean, there's all
Hmm.
sorts of reasons. But
Is that-
but I think there is a percentage of people who teach because they cannot.
Now, I roll with that because, like, even like think about sport. There's some people who teach sports but they can't play, but they got the mind to teach other people. And then there's some people who were fucking great at the sport but they can't fucking teach it. So I
Yeah,
definitely, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
because it's a skill to teach, right? Like everything is a skill.
hmm And you have to be kind of influential. You have to find a way to influence people. You know, all great teachers have ways to influence people. I think different methods. But
Like you made the
I,
example with the CPR teacher.
hmm hmm
Like when it came down to it, she didn't perform for whatever reason that day.
Oh, even after that, she ran away from a couple codes. She ain't built for
She didn't feel for it, but she could
it.
teach it. I mean, hopefully she was a good teacher that she's teaching people to do it well.
But see, even that, right? That's why I think I got upset at the situation because she was like very critical, in her teaching method. And it's like, bro, you criticizing the shit out of us, but when it's time to do it, you can't do it. But she failed like two people for no reason. Basically, some people, well, I'm gonna just leave it individually on her. She just had a lust for power to
Okay,
be in
yeah,
control. You know, she had a lust for power.
yeah.
She just wanted to be in control. She wanted to dominate. She was in the medical field. There's a lot of females, but majority of the people with the authority are male. So, you know, that's one way she can flex her power on some other males because she gets flexed on a lot. So I'm just leaving on, and I ain't gonna say everybody like that. That'd be my only issue is like, when people be critical, like uber critical. It's okay to be critical, but when you beating people
Yeah,
down and you can't even do it, like don't do that.
right. And then, like you said, like some of those people may not have like authority any other realm in their life.
Mhm.
So they over compensate, they over exaggerate their authority. Like, what's up with that?
Man, it was so many times like you working with different people, and they home life is shit, and they have no type of authority, no type of power, no type of say at home. So they come home, they come to work, and because of the status they're in, they start flexing the little power they got around, using that too, because they home life fucked up. So they go home and get fucked up and come to work and fuck other people up.
You know what I was thinking? What if the opposite is true as well? Like they go home and they're like uber enforcement at home with their authority because they don't have it at work or in their business life, in their other
Mm.
like.
That's the thing. Like, even you seen that. I remember it was the janitor, right? Real nice guy. And dude was like super nice, super cool. People used to talk shit. And come to find out, he used to beat his wife when he went home.
Yeah, wow.
He used to beat his wife. He'd come to work, take shit, and go home and take it out on her.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I never thought about that, but that just occurred to me right now. Where it's just like the
Mm-hmm.
opposite can be true too, because like let's say a woman is like i- in charge of enforcing on men, and then the men feel like some sort of way, but they can't control it because they need a job and they're working and they need a job, but they don't like it. They may go home and take it out on their family maybe or on their wife or their mom or sister, whoever they live with. I'm not
These,
saying this is all people, all men. I'm not saying that. But I
mm,
remember there was a couple particular men that that were like always really upset that a woman was telling them, like giving them instructions and telling them what to do and had authority over them. Like they couldn't handle it.
And go home, take it off on the wife and kids.
I don't know if they did that, but you could tell they were pissed. Like they were openly pissed. A lot of times they were pissed.
It's when you look at situations with duality, you see how many different nuances it presents. Because even in that sense, like you said, even though they was getting, fucked over at work, they could either went home and took it out on the family or they could not.
Mhm.
And that's why I say it's important just to understand what it is. So you can look at things on an individual basis and judge the crime, because if we have these, even say, stereotypes or templates, like if this happened then this occurred, you won't see the flip side of, how they say hurt people hurt people. A lot of people really assume because people were abused when they was kids that they go grow up abusing people, and that's not always true.
Right.
A lot of times they become the polar opposite and become advocates
Mhm.
for the abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Or they'll be like super like they'll go the complete opposite way. So they're like super lenient, super, they no punishment for their kids. Let them do whatever they want all the time, which is not, it's not can't be good either.
So let me ask you this: since you're the only brave soul to hit the link, do you present yourself as you are, or do you underpresent yourself, or do you feel you overpresent yourself?
It depends on where I'm at. I I I,
Mhm.
I can underpresent myself, which I've done that before. Here, you guys only see like maybe 15% of me. Obviously, you guys don't know me. Probably only see 50%, 15%, 1 5. And sometimes it's good to underpresent yourself. You see how people treat you.
Do you ever feel you overpresent yourself?
Do I overpresent myself? Yeah, I've done that too in scenarios where I felt like I should overpresent myself. Like the confidence thing we were talking about, like, well, that subject was fake it till you make it type of situation. Yeah. Like maybe you weren't feeling so confident, but you're gonna like play the part because you got to get it done, and you don't want to let people know that you're not able to, or that you have some insecurity about it. So you over present yourself.
I don't think you overpresent yourself. I think you have the ability to elevate yourself. Well, let me tell you what context I mean, like overpresent yourself. Like even when you say fake it to make it, like even when you described it, it wasn't you really faking it. It sounded more like, okay, this is uncomfortable, this is adversity. Now I have to step into the way I think I am. Well, everything I was saying I am, now I have to be that. I don't think that, because you still did it, you know. You still went forward. And you probably after that, if it built more confidence for you, that was just the process of building confidence. But like when I say like fake it till you make it, I'm talking about like you really like this is not who I am, but I'm gonna act like it.
Right.
Like this, I mean, being insecure or being, you know, having, low confidence in something you're doing. I don't think that's faking it till you make it. That's just the process, you know. And we ain't never did nothing, it's gonna feel some and shit. It's always gonna be those negative thoughts, but then when we jump into it, like, no, we willing to try it anyway. That's something different, because a lot of those people who fake it till they make it, when they feet in the fire, they don't step into that shit. They step back. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know they faking it. The ones who step in, they're being forward. Now you're being forward. Even if you ain't that yet, or walking through that fire, you forging yourself to become that. But normally those people, Fake it till you make it. Those be the people who talking all the shit. I do this to you. I do that to you. Then when you show up, they run.
Right.
Those are those are the fake it till you make it. Yeah,
But
I don't
sometimes
think
people, it could benefit them though in certain situations. Like the one story about the guy who was with his wife walking down the street and they encountered somebody that was like, I don't know, on the street or where they were acting crazy. And he had to like over present himself, I guess you could say, so that dude would get scared off and wouldn't do anything to them. Like he was scared, but he had to act more crazy than that dude so that so that he could scare off the dude. So the dude could be like, "Oh, I'm not messing with him," but it could backfire
mm
because,
I
like,
was even about to I was even
mhm.
about to say on that point. If you see somebody crazy and you act crazier than them, I don't know if that's faking it. I think you. I mean, for you to even do that, most people will fucking run. Like, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like I've had to walk down the street and I might be scared, but I'm gonna try to walk like with confidence and try to walk like I don't care. I don't care you're there. I'm not sweating you. Like I'm not afraid of you, even though I am afraid. But I gotta present myself so that I could just like get past that block. Right? You got a choice. You could either cross the street, you could either turn around, walk the other way. Like, what are you gonna do? You gotta like make a choice. What are you gonna do?
Cause as I was saying, you walking down that street just show balls, even if you're scared. That still
Mhm.
show, being like I think because of like training and constantly fighting, like I never really got scared in a fight. Like not when I got older, but just being in a gym and you constantly fighting, when it's time to fight, it's like normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God, I'm about to get in the fight. Like, nah, you be ready. You be kind of eager to get in the fight. Then you condition to that. You condition to that. It's like a reflex now. But
Well, that's when you know you're capable, right? You've done it before. You're capable. You're
yeah,
down for it.
yeah. But I done seen people talk all this mess. Like I had people talk mess to me. Like even at like when I was working in the hospital, people, I do this, I do that. I just walk up to them and slap the shit out of them. Look them right in the eye and dare them and be waiting to get hit back. Motherfucker go tell on me, like, oh, for real. Not you go do all this stuff. I remember I was, that's how I lost my Wendy's job. I think I was 15. No, my KFC job. I was 15 when that happened. The guy was grown too. Talking all this mess, like, I do this to you, I do. I walk right up to him and slap him. He went and told the manager.
Well, what they say, you gotta watch out for the quiet ones, right? Like the all bark, no bite. Usually,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are barking the loudest.
That's the ones that trying to deter you.
So, what do you mean by over presenting? Like, in what sense? Like, you think I over present myself? I'm trying to
No,
think of scenarios.
I don't think you ever, I mean, I don't like know your personal life or nothing like that, but just from like our interactions, I don't think I just always felt like you underrepresented yourself. Ever since I met you, I felt like you underrepresented yourself. And the reason I
Oh,
can
okay.
identify that is because I do. That's why I can
Oh, okay. I
identify that people do
misunderstood.
it.
I thought earlier.
No,
I thought you said that you thought I over presented myself. Okay, got it.
oh, no. I definitely know when people do that. 'Cause like I said, they can't never accomplish things. But I just never felt like when you said, well, in this situation, I'm like, nah, man, I can't see you over presenting. So,
But like
just
over
from
presenting, like would be like what example? Like like what? Like
you
lying, like
saying,
saying I'm this,
yeah,
I'm that, I'm this. I got, this under my belt, that I'm like that type of thing, but
Like
you're not.
if I came on here and said, "Oh, I'm married," and I'm not married,
Oh, okay.
or vice
That would be
versa. Like,
overpresenting.
mm-hmm,
So if you're married and then you don't say you're married, is that underpresenting?
mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Well, no, I still think that's overpresenting because you present yourself as something you're not. So if you are married and you present yourself as single, I think that's overpresenting because you're presenting yourself as something you're not. So
Like the
either if
people.
you, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's
No, sorry.
like,
Go ahead.
we kind of just reversed the situation and said over and under, but I think it's the same thing. So like, if you are married but you present yourself as single, you're over presenting yourself because you present yourself as single when you're really not. And if you are single and present yourself as married, then you're still over presenting yourself as something that you're not. Under presenting yourself is you're not showing the full you.
Hmm.
And it's not that you're projecting something you're not, you're just under projecting what you are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
I think I
Ozzy, how he
clarified it
says
better.
he wants to be like he wants to be the dumbest guy. What does he say? The stupidest guy in the room or something like that. He says
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to learn.
Mm-hmm. So he will underpresent himself. He won't even show his intellect. But somebody presenting themselves as smart and really dumb will be overpresenting. So
Like the people on social media that present themselves with like all these, like they put their family, like everything's perfect. They do all the good stuff and they never show any of the bad stuff.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the good stuff be moments, the bad stuff be life.
Right?
Rip.
Or even the good stuff, it could be fake. Like
Mm-hmm.
so many people have been caught that, like the one lady, she went to jail already, but her husband put out some of the footage because they were YouTubers, and so he put out some of like the bloopers, I guess you could say, where she's recording her family, and it's like it's staged.
Oh
She's
wow.
like, "You better act this way, you better act that way. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Another take. Another take. You better smile. You better not say that.
That's
You better say this."
crazy.
Right? It's wild. Poor kids, man.
They workers. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, they're actors, right? It's like acting. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
acting for money.
But you present it as reality instead of saying this is, this is us acting. So we don't really live like this. You got to put some type of disclaimer.
Yeah, and she was
That's,
presenting herself like giving advice to parents and families and stuff like that.
mm, life be all fucked up. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. Some people cool with it. People giving advice if it's good information. And they don't care about, you know, where it come from. I understand that. It's a saying, take the message. What does it say? Um, yeah, Gary, Gary probably sleep, but it's something about don't look at the character of the messenger, just what is the message or something like that.
Yeah, like the pastors at church. Like I know they're faulty. I know they're faulty. I know they got skeletons. I know that in their day-to-day life they mess up, they sin, but they're presenting on stage for their congregation the message. They're teaching the message of the Bible, etc. But lots of them
Like,
can't
like,
even
how do
do
you
it
feel?
themselves.
So how do you feel about that? Like, I would look at it like you putting expectations on me that you can't even meet. So is it? I look at it as that make the I don't know, man. Sometimes you got to look at the message. I guess it depends. Oh, excuse me. I guess it depends what the message is. Sometimes the messenger do it matter for me. Cause like even that, like why wouldn't I just go find a better messenger? I don't know. It's just
But I think all messengers, like, no one's perfect, so they're gonna have faults. So that's why I feel like you just take the good. You just take the good. You leave the bad and you take the good. You try to learn the good of people, and that's it.
like I can like say if a pastor got a problem with gambling or I can understand that, but if you fucking with kids, I can't fuck with that messenger. Like if you beating women, like if you hurting people, if you hurting yourself, that's one thing. This is how I look at life. If you hurting yourself, that's one thing. But if you hurting other people, then I got a problem. I got an issue with that.
Yeah. I guess if it's known to you, if you don't know it, you don't know it.
Yeah,
You
if you
don't know
don't
it.
know it, then ignorant bliss. Then you got to pay for
But there's a lot of people who are loyal, and then they'll keep going to church even though the pastor's been exposed, and the pastor will say, he'll cry, he'll say, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do better. And then, they teach forgiveness, right? You're supposed to forgive, so you give someone another chance. But maybe a part of the congregation leaves, and then there's the ones that stay that are a little bit more, what do you say? I don't know. You could say loyal, you could say dumb, you could say
it.
more
Yeah.
forgiving,
Mm.
because a
Like
lot of
a
it's
back.
community. Like they
Yeah,
associate their life and themselves with this community, and so then it's a loss. It's a
yeah.
sense of loss.
If you imagine you going to a church for like 10 years and you know, big up in this pastor, and one day you find out he did some unscrupulous shit. Oh man, hold on, baby girl crying. Here come mama.
Okay, no worries.
I already
Yeah, I
got it
think it
ready.
happens. I think it happens more often. Maybe some of them are a little more slick with it, and it takes longer to expose, but it depends on what it is. Like, should the pastor be honest about it? If the pastor's preaching about marriage and marriage counseling, but he's having trouble in his marriage, should he talk about the problems in his marriage? I think it would be helpful, but also the wife might not want all their business being said up on an altar. So you have to like outweigh, what do you do? I think it would be better for people to learn, that hey, we're not nobody's perfect. Like, yeah, we're having problems, but we're working on it. Just like
Yeah.
I'm asking you guys to work on it, like we're working on it.
Now I'll say this: if he presenting himself as perfect, like his relationship perfect, and if not, that's one thing. But if he ain't talking about his relationship, like presenting it, if he like, look, all relationships have problems, we have our ups and downs. I don't mind that. That's real. You ain't gotta tell me what's going on. But don't present yourself like your shit don't stink, and then you got to stink your shit in the room.
Yeah, because
That's what
listen,
I
things
have
like
issues with.
what do you always say? Like, don't put your limitations on me. So that might be
Mm-hmm.
his limitations, but my marriage might be good and I'm good. He might be having problems with his marriage. I might be faulty in another area of my life that he's not. Maybe I have a gambling problem, but he doesn't have that gambling problem.
He
So
doesn't have
like,
that gambling problem. Right?
we all have our own different issues.
All right. That's
So
what I be. That's why. That's why I fuck with the progression aspect and not perfection. Like, I ain't about to come on here. Like, I've been told so many times, you're a life coach. You gotta present yourself as professional. Man, fuck that. He's about to come on here like that. But I got problems and I got issues just like y'all. Y'all want to know how I handle it? Do this. That's all I can do, man. I got struggles. I got stripes in life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have a lot of issues other people have, but I got different issues. But if y'all got these issues, I can help you overcome it by simply sharing what I ain't gonna say by simply sharing what I did because what I did might not work for you, but I can give you some advice. But I'm not gonna come on here and make it my problem your problem. I hate when people do that shit. We need to do it. No, you need to do that shit. I don't need to do a goddamn thing. Hey, do that work, man. We're working on something else. Don't try to bring me back down where you at. Nah, you need to come up here where I'm at. Because after you fix
Yeah.
that problem, you got other problems to fix too. Shit.
Maybe when they say we, they're talking to the people that have their same issues. Like we, they're talking to the ones that have like if the shoe fits, right? Or if it fits to them, then that's who they're talking to. Not talking to everyone, just those who can relate.
These are sounding like they French or something. We.
We gotta understand. We have to do better. We have to. But
Like
a
we
lot of times it
eliminate,
does fit. Like we need to be the example.
yeah, that's it. We need to be the example. But if I got an attitude problem, I can't say we need to fix our attitude. No, I need to fix mine. You hear somebody say, "Well, I need to do this." Yeah, well, we all need to. No, you got it right the first time. You need to do that. You keep working on that. We fixed that shit already. I don't know. I just think like at certain ages you should hit different milestones, right, with levels of understanding things. And I just see a lot of people projecting their uh, shortcomings onto other people. I see that happen a lot, and it's sad because it's like as long as people do that, it's like they're not even really taking accountability. They're saying we need to do it, but I need to do it. But you think it's a group project? Nah.
Yeah. I catch myself doing that sometimes, though, saying we or people, but then sometimes I'll correct myself and say I feel this way, or this is what I think, or my opinion. This is what I do.
Yeah. I had man, I had people kind of structure me like that. And at times it fit though. Like if we talking about like parenting, right? We can say we have to be the example for our kids, right? But if I'm neglectful, right, I can't say we need to start paying attention to our kids. I gotta say I need to start paying attention to my kids. Because everybody ain't neglectful. But if you are, then you need to work on that. You see how that works? 'Cause it's some parents, man, that just feel like them putting a roof and clothes, doing the bare minimum is essential. Well, it is doing the bare minimum is essential, but that ain't all it is. Kids need attention. And I was listening to this OSHA. I was listening to OSHA, and she was talking about how she was brought up when she married her husband. And she was saying she at the time she was living with her grandparents and she didn't have that father influence, and she was looking for that attention, and she found it in a man. You know, so like hearing that, it just made me understand how much more attention I got to pay to my daughter. So even in that
Yes.
aspect, listening to her story, I can say us men, by listening to the story, we should understand how important it is to pay attention to our daughters. But what I can't say, because say if I'm not in my daughter's life, like I can't say, well, we need to be in our daughter's life. No, I need to be in my daughter's life. I'm not in. I can't say we. I can't put that on everybody. So it's all about like application, how it's done. And that to me shows the intent. So like even when I was saying like when people state things they personally need to work on, and they associate it to everyone. That's not them taking accountability for themselves. They're making it as it's a societal issue when really it's a personal issue. Even if it's a lot of people in society doing it, you still got to do the work. What if they don't want to do the work? You bringing it up as an issue and saying we when you just need to focus on you and admit that you don't do it. But by admitting that it's done society, that's kind of taking the blame off of you. You making the issue everyone's and not just your own.
Well, but even people that are doing it, like writers, for example, she's being active, right? She's doing things for her community, and so I think she might speak like we, the
Yeah,
community, need to step up.
yeah,
We need to do more. But she is doing it. It's not that she's
yeah,
not doing it. She wants to encourage others
and
to
see
do it as
that's
well.
what, and exactly like even using sis for instance, is all about the application. What she's talking about is a group effort. We talking about community. We need to do better as a community, so we will fit perfectly in there. Even if it's something that she feels she can do better individually, but see if it's done collectively. Like when I say we need to be the example, we over here building this community. So it's gonna take more than just me being the example, because I personally can't reflect the whole community. I probably can be the face of it, but then when people come over here and everybody acting different from what I am I really reflection of the community, or is the community more of a reflection of me? If I'm the face, the community got to be a reflection of me. But
Now,
I want.
I listen.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I heard somebody else, a YouTuber, say that I think he said his mom or his grandma used to or says, um, what did he say? Something about bees. Used to bees. He said, used to bees don't produce honey.
Mm.
Used to bees don't produce honey. I had to
Used to
sit there and
be.
think, right? Because there's a lot of older people who used to be certain things, right? But they're
Mm-hmm.
retired or they're older and they're not that anymore. They're not producing the honey anymore, but they still have value
Mm-hmm.
in talking about it and sharing with others. So that's a form of, I guess, producing if you're teaching, sharing. I don't know.
No, I definitely think it is. But I think from what you told me, it kind of sounded like them. You know, like if I was saying like, oh, back in high school, man, I used to run a 4.3 or 4.4. Or I used to be this. I used to be that. That's what he's saying. But what about the people who that now? Them the ones producing the honey, not you. You keep talking about what you used to be versus what you are now.
Yeah,
Like they don't want to let go of the past. Somebody was
yeah.
somebody was who was that? That was Karen when he was somebody said something about it was like, well, what if that was the best moment of their life, reliving, their past. I mean, it's nothing wrong. Memories are there for a reason to inspire, make you feel good. But you keep trying to relive your golden age, man. You ain't got the abilities and the skills to. You might put yourself in trouble, especially like speaking from a hood perspective. These old men, 60 years old, sagging and wearing their hats to the back. Like, bro, well, I don't mind them wearing the hat to the back, but like you 60 years old trying to gang bang or something. Like, sit down, bro.
Yeah, retire that. It's time to retire that.
Yeah. 70-year-old drug dealer. Like, go sit down with some 80-year-old pimp. Like, bro, give it up.
Now, why do they have to give it up, though? Why do they have to give it up?
They don't have to. Yeah, honestly, they do not have to give it up, but it just look weird, man. Let it go. Enjoy being old. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be gangster or nothing like that. I'm straight. I do what I have to do, but no, man, I ain't trying to do all that.
Like those really old. Every now and then, I'll see a really old, like you should be retired police officer. Like you should be retired.
Yeah,
What are you doing on the street still? Like,
yeah. Like, you ain't about to chase nobody, bro. You ain't about to do all that. You'll
but
try to
they
put
don't want to
somebody's
let it
hand.
go.
They don't want to let it go. You'll try to put somebody's hands behind their back and have a damn heart attack.
Yeah, but hey, they're still employed. Like they're still given a job. Maybe they
Hmm.
don't want to feel like they don't want to sit at home. They still want to be in the game, but they're not at their best anymore.
Yeah, man. That's what I was. I was. Shout out to Mr. Sports Chat 33. I was reading this article where they was saying the old farts in A. This is how they said it, the old farts in AEW need to sit down and let the young people have it. I think Booker T said it. So he was like, all these old men want to hold championships when all these young men here. Like he said they they one step away from a Walker or something like that.
And what do you think about that?
I think it's
Some of the
crazy.
oldies are goodies.
But man, I don't nobody want to see Chris Jericho wrestle or Edge. Like, come on, man, it's over with, bro. You had your time, bro. Y'all go break something that ain't gonna be able to heal quick enough.
But see, I think like they're bringing back people because like maybe that's what people want to see, or why are they bringing back these people?
Because the new people don't have the star power, the charisma. You
That
know,
part.
a lot of these new wrestlers, man, it's like they just ain't got. I don't know what it is. It's just they ain't got it. They
Like they
ain't
don't
got it.
have the heart. Maybe they or the
Yeah,
intention is something different than what it used to be.
yeah, man. It's like even watching like basketball. I can't. I don't watch basketball no more because it's like too friendly, man. They be shaking hands and shit. Like, no, I want to see them go at it. I don't want to see them being all nice to one another. It's a sport. It's competition. Like, go at it. They can't foul hard. They can't do this. Like, I'm straight, man. Nobody want to see this no more. I don't. Anyway, I ain't gonna say nobody.
Well, like in the military is one where I'm like, oh, I'm worried about the military. Like I'm worried about the military.
Never worry
Like all
about
the
the
new.
Marines. Marines go be Marines. I don't care what rule or anything. No, Marines go be Marines. I would never worry about them. Everybody else, I don't know.
Because even like the older guys, like the lieutenants, the sergeants or whatever, they say it's like it's different. Like they'll say it. It's like they're softer. The kids are
Society is.
softer.
Yeah, they
So
want rights and shit.
how are they gonna act when they're put in those positions where it's like
They
you
go
said, you
die.
gotta you run away, you're gonna run back. What are you gonna do? Like
That's what it is. Like, when you built to be a soldier, man, it's different. It's totally different than being a civilian. And they want to bring that civilian life into the military. I mean, you built to be a killer, man. That's what they building you to be.
like look at the Uvalde. People will refer back to the Uvalde where they didn't go in to save the kids. Like they waited too long. Like nobody
Hmm.
was taking action to go in. Like that's not what they're meant to be. They're the ones that are meant to go into the fire.
Hmm.
Firefighters are meant to go into the fire, not wait it out.
Exactly.
I mean, unless it's too unsafe, right? They have their limits.
Yeah.
But the firefighters get way more respect.
Firefighters are bad at. They crazy. That's one job I couldn't do. I ain't running to no goddamn fire. Them people
And they
got
don't get paid as
balls.
much.
Nah,
Some of them
man.
are a lot of them are volunteers.
Hmm.
Now, somebody was saying that in government, like political government positions should be volunteer. But then
I
I thought
could
that's
get
not
to
going
it.
to solve the problem because you could go and volunteer, but you're still going to get paid. You're still going to get paid by them lobbyists. You're still going to make money somehow.
They gotta get rid of lobbyists.
Lobbyists are going to
Yeah.
pay you. You're going to get money. You're going to get persuaded, especially if you're not even making an income and it's all volunteer.
And that's how they tried to counteract the lobbyists, but that shit ain't gonna work. They just go give them more money. You got to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's not the solution. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think that they should get paid, but maybe not as much as they do.
Yeah. Pay them what they do. Just take the lobbyists out. Take away the influence. You know, should pay them. Shit, they doing the job. Should pay them.
Why are the
Just
most
take.
important people in community the less paid? The least appreciated, the less paid.
You know, I don't know what live I said it on. I was actually looking for the clip and I couldn't find it. But I was saying people get paid. Did you notice this? People get paid more to entertain than to educate. People get more to entertain than to heal. Entertainment, and what is entertainment? Is a distraction. So they actually paying people top dollar to keep people distracted. People get paid top dollars to become a distraction instead of a solution.
Yeah, because it feels good.
Features.
Because it's a feel
Yeah.
good. That's why, like, alcohol, right? Like liquor, smokes, all that is like always, like, people are always going to buy that. Don't matter the economy, right?
Don't
Because
matter.
that's a little feel good. Like, you could be
You
broke, but you're going to have your cigarettes.
gonna have my cigs, gonna have my nicotine, gonna have my liquor, I'm gonna have my trees, whatever it is. It's all a distraction, man.
It's like a
Even my
soothing.
food. Have my soap operas, I'm gonna have my reality TV, I'm gonna have my YouTube gossip. Think about that even on here, man. People get paid top dollar to create chaos. Chaos is another form of distraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another form of distraction.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
people
you
come
get.
on here for different reasons, and one of them is distraction. I know for me that's what it was.
That's the
Distraction.
main. I think that's the main reason. And that's what once I pick up my phone and hit YouTube, I'm distracted from everything that's going on around me. In that moment, I'm looking at a video. I'm distracted. No matter what the video is, I'm distracted from what's going on around me. That's
Yeah,
how
but
that shit
sometimes we
works,
do
man.
need a distraction. Sometimes we do need something to occupy. Like people are at work and they got YouTube in their ear or a podcast or something to help them get through the day.
Now, this the thing. If you can come on here, be distracted from what's going on around you, but when you come off here, now you got something useful to remedy what's going on around you. I mean, that's beneficial to you. You know, it's people who do that. You know, even if it's gardening, okay, shit, I want to do a garden. I come on here, be distracted from what's going on around me for a minute, but when I come off here, I'm gonna start putting fucking garden together. I know how to knit now. Oh, I know what this is. I know what that is now. You know, so if you gaining something from it, then it's a good distraction. But if you losing something, then it's a bad distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can get addictive. All of a sudden you're like enthralled in all this dumb stuff and gossip and drama that doesn't really pertain to you.
I
None of
done
your
heard,
business. It's none of my business, but yet I'm over here wanting to know
but
what happened.
I'm over here researching people and shit. You know what's crazy though? Imagine people who come on here with families and because their interactions on YouTube, they lose a wife or a husband. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy.
Yeah.
When I see that happen, that'd be wild. I seen that happen a couple times. Dude came on here and yeah, I don't know if he was flirting with people, but I know he came on here one day. It was like first they was I seen a video of people teasing him like, "Damn, you lost your girl to YouTube." And then he came on here was like, "Yeah, man, paying too much attention to YouTube. My girl left me. I'm like, damn, like that's fucked up.
That happens a lot. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that happen. But the same could be like, if it wasn't going to be YouTube, it was going to be something else, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason, like, that person was choosing to do that. Because if it becomes a problem, then, like, if my husband said, "Oh, you got to get the, it's a problem," okay, I'll get off. I'll come on less
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is. But if you're just going to straight up ignore your spouse and what they're like telling you, it's becoming a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you straight up ignore it. Well, yeah, you're probably gonna end up divorced.
That shit. Wow, I can. I told my wife, because even when I felt like I be on here too much sometimes, I told my wife, I said, man, if it ever a problem, let me know. If you feel like I'm on it too much, she like, I will. Don't worry about it. I'm like, cool. As long as we get that understanding, because, and that's with anything. Like even when I was working, I told her that. Before I even lost my sight, I told her like, man, because I was working like 2 jobs, really 3 as a contingent, but we was grinding trying to get something. I'm like, if you feel like I ain't home enough, I want you to tell me, because fuck all this. I'm doing it for you, and I don't want to lose you in the midst of me trying to do it.
Yeah, it's
So
not worth it.
no, it ain't worth it, man. We'll find another way. Shit, we'll find another way to
Yeah.
make it happen. I
My
ain't about
husband
to.
has said, I'll work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. No, you don't gotta do all that.
Hey,
Nah,
that's
we
some
don't
real
need
man
nothing
shit,
that
though.
bad. Yeah.
But that's some real man. A lot of dudes ain't gonna be. They tell you to go get another job. Can't you Uber
Right?
Eats or something? Like they say some shit like that. I remember my wife was like, "I'm gonna Uber Eats on the weekend." I said, "No, the hell you ain't." She was like, "But it'll be. I get the money for the vacation. Don't worry about it. I get it. Don't worry." I went and got it. But I just
Yeah,
got to work
no.
harder. I'm working so you won't ever have to work again. It's just a process. When I
Yeah.
get where I'm at, she ain't gonna have to work. It's gonna work for me.
Right. Yeah, but I've always had an income, so like my husband, I'm like, no, you don't have to work overtime. You don't have to work weekends. You just chill, relax. You work enough, and because I mean, there's no point in working too much and not being a part of
Mm-hmm.
your family or enjoying your household.
And that'd be the
We all
part
need
right
time.
there.
Mhm.
Man, we need to have that discussion. We need to have that discussion, because I don't think people really like it, and that's just I think part of healthy relationships is that level of communication, and also that level of compassion for one another. You know what I'm saying? Not one to overdo, or to do extra just to compensate. I don't think, you know, I don't see that in average relationships. It might be normal to us, and we might be like, okay, this makes sense, but if you really listen to people, that's not common, man. Where did I put my phone?
Well, somebody might say, "Oh, that's taking the man role." No, I don't think so. That's just love. Like,
Man,
I don't think that's
women have,
taking the man role.
even back in the day, women always had some type of hustle, or did something, if it was making quilts, or you know, um, being nurses,
Babysitting.
babysitting, making pies, cooking. You know what I'm saying? Women always had a hustle.
I've heard ladies that have said like that they worked in their children's school, like in the cafeteria. They were making money plus they were able to be around their kids, get off of work when their kids get off school, be home with them.
Hey, shout out to ARD for the 666. I know he don't like when I announce it. So
Shout out to ARD tapping in from the base.
The keyword is
Shout out to ARD. Let me show you the second clip. I made this in like 15 minutes. I ain't done with it, but shout out to Nate again.
Word, what's going on, my guy? I'm glad you popped up in here. I told your ass I had a drop for your ass too. Don't
He will never learn.
You work for me now, Gabe.
I'm the puppet master. You listen to me.
Poor little tank, ain't that a bitch?
Poor little Tink Tink. You work for me.
he gonna get it in a minute. He keeps saying I'm AI guy. Go ahead and keep making AI. I'm gonna keep clipping them. I'm gonna get you to dance. I took him off stage. Well, I put him on stage. Adam dancing in Africa.
You should do one AI of you, like with the sword.
Oh, I ain't gonna do. I ain't doing the face scan. I don't like the face scan, but I can definitely. I made some. It's not in this media folder.
How come you don't like the face scan? It's weird or what?
Nah, it's like it's not. I like creating. Like when you do the face scan, it's like the clip is already made, and you just putting your face to it. So I just like creating. I'm not putting my face on nobody else's body, but I can create an AI of me and put me in like different like gear. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. Like that I can do, but I'm not putting my face on nobody else's body. That shit weird to me. I'm good. My wife did that, and she used to do that. I used to get so upset. She'd send me some face scans of me on different people. I'd be like, man, stop putting me on them people's body. I do not like that. I don't know why. It's just I like my own body, I guess. You know, even though I got a dad bod, I like my own. So, yeah, I just like creating. Like even all I did was cut out the background and add different backgrounds to what he was doing, and I changed the effects and stuff like that. But that's still like for me, it's still creating. Oh no, it's just like I'm still creating. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to tell my husband to stop sending me videos because he's got this app where he makes like different actors or politicians say things, whatever he wants. Like he just types in whatever he wants them to say in their voice.
Yeah, I got that too.
I'm like,
I can
okay.
I was gonna do Nate's picture and do that, and I'm like, I ain't gonna do that to him. That's a little too far. I ain't gonna do all that.
Make them say stuff.
Yeah, I was about to. I ain't gonna share it, but I did kind of make one. Like, word is the greatest, and I approved this message. I was gonna put it in the video, and I was like, I ain't gonna do that to him. Like, that's a little too far.
That's too much.
Like, I don't know if he hit me with something that's like made me step my game up, then maybe, just maybe.
You got that one in your back pocket.
Yeah, I got that. I got a couple. I got rounds. I got drums. Like this is light work. I'm being nice. Like trust me, my mind is very creative. It's like even in that video, I made it's like 7 other clips I didn't even put in it. Oh man. I'm like, I don't know, bro. You dealing with it. You have to. Hopefully, this elevated his editing game. It will for me. You know what I'm saying? Like a friendly joust that always make me want to step up. To the next level. But this is what I do though. These edits, like stuff like this, I ain't even did nothing new yet. These are old techniques. Make me do something new.
Hey, so what'd you think about Blind last night?
Oh, Blind was cool. I like his perspective too. I like the way he look at stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I
There's
got,
more than meets the eye with Blind.
I
Because
figured
Blind
that.
can act a fool. He can act a
Yeah.
fool, and you would not even think there's like way more to him.
No, I kind of figured that. Yee. Tapping in from the
Yeah.
bay.
What up, ARD?
What it
Mhm.
is, what it ain't. Take a bad still stink.
That's what's up. Yeah, but
Man.
there's more to people than meets the eye. Like I think he underplays himself a lot of times. Like we all can take different roles at different times, whatever we were feeling like. It doesn't mean that like we all have different aspects of ourselves, right? Like sometimes we could be super
Mhm.
petty and humorous and then we can get serious and have serious conversations, but there's more to people than just one way. Like with my husband, how people don't know him how he is at home. They don't see that side. So they may not ever even imagine that he's at home acting silly.
Mhm.
Hey, you know what? That's for the home, right? We don't
Yeah.
have to put everything on the internet for everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's for those who are privileged, to know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about the three faces. You got that public side, that private side, and that hidden side.
Oh yeah, I think it's
Private
more than
side.
that, man. I think it's about seven at least. I can count five. But one thing though, honestly, I think this has been a dope conversation, and you guys just gave me a couple of things to even consider. Both on the panel. Something you said earlier too. It was like you can read a Disney book and learn something from it and know how to apply it to life. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was reading one to little ARD, right? The Dr. Seuss book, and a part of it it's a part of the Dr. Seuss book called The Waiting Place, right? And how to get through life. And I was like, man, they putting this in Dr. Seuss books. And when you hear it, it's like normally, as a kid, you don't really know. But when you go through life and you experience life and you get a chance or opportunity for life to really catch up with you just with a Dr. Seuss book when you're reading it to your child or something. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, hold on. Yo, whoever Dr. Seuss was an oracle or like a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally whoever that was that put those in those words and made it kid friendly, I was like, this is incredible. Like literally it's genius.
There's lessons
And
in it.
huh?
There's lessons in Dr. Seuss books.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. If you want
Yeah.
to take it, there's lessons in everything, right?
Yeah. If
But
you man, you
no, seriously, I
not
really like learned a lesson on like the waiting place, right? And I'll have to get the actual name of the book. I'll get the name of the book and I'll bring it back. But I'm serious. Like, my little ARD knows this book. Like, they can read the book for you. Like, I don't even have to read it. They know like all the words and everything. Right? It's not just about Dr. Seuss. Um, they have a plethora of books in their library too. But it was like one of the books that stood out to me. I was just like, I'm over here reading this, and when you're reading it out loud, you're like, hold on, wait, what did I just read? Like this is in a book, like a kid's book. Like, hold on, nah, this is some real life stuff too, right? And I thought that was interesting because I even took, being in the waiting place, right? Some people that do, some people that don't, some people that can, but some people that won't. It's like some Dr. Seuss stuff, right? And I was like, man, this is crazy. Because in my opinion, at that time, I was seeing so many people just get frustrated after trying and seeing some success and trying and failing again and not seeing success. And then the first success, they can't even remember the benefits and the positivity of it because they had to keep trying and failing even more. And it was like, you either want to get into the waiting place or do you still want to keep trying, right? Really trying to do it. And I thought that was profound when I thought about that, right? And I'm reading that to little ARD, and I'm like, man, this is actually what life is about. Am I making sense, or I'm just speaking with
Mm-hmm.
novel?
Now check this out. You know the story of green eggs and ham?
The
No,
who?
so I didn't read that one all the
You
way
know,
through, right? Actually, I stayed away from green eggs and ham, right? Because I thought it was on some other stuff, right? But
no, let me sum it up real quick. So, Dr. Seuss Green Eggs and Ham basically is about this dude who wouldn't try something because he thought he didn't like it. But once he tried it, he realized he liked it. So that book is teaching kids, like, try before you judge. Just a little concept. Before you judge something,
that's a
try it.
fact.
And what do we talk about? Like people say, well, this don't exist. Well, did you try to practice this? Did you try to do this? And what they say, no. Like,
Did
damn,
you
you didn't
try
go
and
read,
fail, or you just ain't
go
try
read
at
Green
all?
Eggs and Ham when you will see the importance of applying things in life. There's a
Yeah,
lot of importance to apply. They try.
yeah.
You don't know which way until you try.
So it's interesting you said that because now I'm gonna have to go and get the new joint, right? I'm gonna have to go buy a new book for little ARD, and they gonna love it because every time it's like you go shopping with Daddy, right? And little ARD love, oh yeah, because little ARD knows she can go ahead, just put it in the cart. But when she's with AR Dub, the resilient wife, she can't really do all that. But I was thinking, with the green eggs and him trying and failing, this was the whole thing because I had a conversation with somebody literally on Saturday. And they were telling me why they won't even entertain anybody with that. And I was like, did you see somebody that fell or did you do it and fail? No. I was like, so how do you know? But you're giving it all your time, your mental space. I was like, why not at least try if you're already giving your mental space? And they were like, man, you're right. I was like, so either stop thinking about it, move on, or get in the game and try it and fail. Show me something if you like. Show me that you can fail at it before you tell me that this ain't good. Now I understand like certain things in life you don't have to fail at it to know it ain't good, right? But what we were speaking to, I was like, man, you didn't even try to fail at it, let alone win. I was like, man, how can you even count it out? And I thought that was pretty interesting that you said that about green eggs and ham, though. But that was just my perspective, though. Yeah. I think I said too much.
Sorry, I'm munching on some candy. What up, Kieran? You're like glitching, like really bad, like robot.
Oh, he left?
He'll come back.
All right, perfect. Yeah.
But do you think like these books, like you think the kids are grasping it? Like, are these books that you read too, like as a kid? Like, do you remember?
Honestly, I didn't remember it as a kid when I was in like the theta state, but for some reason, certain parts stuck with me, right? Like kids definitely are in the theta state up to what, like 4 or 5 years old almost, right? And theta, everything is real. That's why they have imagination. And I can say, hey, don't go on the floor because there's lava on the ground. They really think it's lava on the ground, right? It's a theta state where, yeah, it's a theta state. I'm not even gonna go into all that because we can all get back into the theta state as adults. But it's a little bit different for us, right? But I honestly believe certain parts do stick with them. You know, yeah.
I want Karen to do a mic check real quick, and I want to do. I was talking, I didn't even know I was on the big mic when I was supposed to be on a little mic. So I want Kay to do his. I want to delineate on the green eggs and ham real quick. But go ahead, Kay.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you sound good. You sound good. Let me add this to the pot real quick, and then y'all can cook. But to delineate a little further on the green eggs and ham, do you remember me saying people, when they look at things and they give you more excuses on why something is not possible versus looking at why it is?
Yeah.
That's what that's what,
you got to
because if you
change
look,
people's perspective with your words, right? Small words can change the possibilities of what can be versus what can't be. We all know what can't be, right? You can never
hold on,
be a
hold on, hold on,
millionaire.
hold on,
Oh
bro. Let
yeah,
me
I was
finish
about to
cooking.
start cooking too.
Hold on. Let me finish the pot real quick. So in that green eggs and ham, he was giving them suggestions like try it like this, try it like that. He was saying no, 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 and at the end he said just try it. Then he tried it, and then he went back and said, well, I would do it like this. I would do it like that because I like it now. So that's what I tell people: look for reasons why things can be possible before you look for reasons why it can't be. Because looking for reasons why it can't be, that's not you even. You're not even trying.
Exactly. And for me too, just to add to that, I mean, we know it's not possible, right? Come on. Like, we got so many examples, let alone our own lives. Like, we know it's not possible, right? But however, can you tell me what is possible? I know it's not possible, right? Like coming in, changing things and in the form that we do. I know it's not possible, right? I know all the risks, I know all the challenges for the most part, but I'm also listening too, because I know if we actually create a culture, a mindset of winning, right? And not even winning, just look on the things that we can do instead of what we can. We always win, right? Actually, we won already. So I just have a different mindset about certain things. It's not to ignore, the challenges or risks that exist with trying new things. However, I also respect the fact that we can actually enjoy new things if we look at the positive aspect of it. That's all.
I think sorry, Commander, you go. I've just joined.
I was thinking about when you said what we know what things are not possible, and I was trying to think like what things. But then I remembered Word as a kid jumped off the roof, I think, or he was trying to play Superman or what was it, Spider-Man, and he like thought it was possible, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of something that's not possible, right? So, I'm 54 years old. I've got a dodgy back and a bad hip and a sore shoulder. I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play a quarterback for the NFL, right?
Right.
That's impossible. That's impossible. Right? However, I do think about a guy. There was however, there was a guy who he was like my height. He was like 5'8", and he ended up playing in the NBL. He was a really good shooter, and he was he stood out because he was a foot and a half shorter than everybody else, but he managed to get into the NBL and actually play. So I think I've mentioned before that guy Tony Robbins, the motivational guy. I read his book back in 2000, and he had this exercise he gets people to do. He says, sort of stand up. Hey, Blackout's in the chat. Good to see you, man. He said, blackout. So he said, put your right hand. He said, put your right hand out, like horizontally out towards your right hand side, and then keep your feet planted on the ground and twist your body so you're pointing behind you, and pick a spot on the wall or something and see how far you can go. And when you've gone as far as you can go, come back straight. So everyone does it, and he goes, have you got it? And they go, yeah. He goes, now do it again, but go further. And I tried it, and I went further. I thought I'd gone to the end as far as I could go, but it turned out there was a little bit more I could do. Right now, it's impossible. It's impossible I can go all the way around, but the
you did more
limitation
than what you thought initially you could do.
Yes, the limitation is in my own expectations.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
It is, man.
As kids, how do kids know what's possible and what's not? Like I
I
feel like
Well,
honestly
I'll give you.
parents are
believe,
there to
Fernando,
tell
we
them.
I
put.
can.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
can
My
speak to.
bad.
That's the beauty.
I can speak to
I
that.
love it.
When my kids were little, we had 3 in 3 years, so um, they're all around this a very similar age. And I said to my wife one time, I was thinking about it. I said, when the kids ask us if they can do something new, my default thought is no, and then I try to think of a reason why it should be yes. And I said to her, I think we both do that. We both have this kind of no, we don't say it, but we think it, and then we try to rationalise and find a reason why it's not no. And I said to her, how about we try this, right? When the kids ask us if they can do something new, our first thought is yes. And then we see if we can find a reason why it shouldn't be yes. It's a very subtle
Yeah,
change, but I tell you, it made a huge difference. It
I
made a huge
agree.
difference.
Yeah,
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 and
because
we
we
just
put
find
became,
reasons why
limitations,
it's
like
no. Oh, go
we
ahead.
put our
Sorry.
perceived limitations on children.
And that's what I was gonna say too, right? We put our own fears onto kids or people that can be of influence, to be influenced, right? We put our own fears on them. For instance, no,
true.
don't do that. I mean, it's the difference between, hey, don't touch the iron because it's hot, or don't touch the eye because it's hot. We're cooking, right? And the grease gonna pop, or the water is boiling, right? There are things that we know. It's like, hey, I've told you, right? And we put parameters in place so they are safe. But there are other things that we put on people, especially people that can be influenced like kids, that, in my opinion, it's like, man, don't do it too early. Let them enjoy the fact of just being free and creative, right? Because
Yeah,
I found, yeah, go ahead.
I think also we can sort of humorlessly play with the idea of fuck around and find out. Sometimes you've got to let your kids fuck around and find out, right? Not in terms of having a fight, but let them, like, they're
Yeah,
gonna, they want to do this thing, but it's kind of stupid. But you know it. But let them find out for themselves. Then they'll know. And every now and then they'll surprise you and they'll pull it off, and you'll go, "Holy crap! I thought that was going to be stupid."
exactly. You thought that you were going to crash and burn, but you
Hey,
actually sustained and learned, right? Like
now,
you
now,
did it. Yeah.
now check this out.
And that was the
The
thing
other,
too, because I
can
don't
you hear me?
tell.
Mike check.
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Gotcha.
I hear you.
All right, let me say this real quick and then y'all can cook. But off of that point right there, I was talking to Gary the other day. I was outside and my son was out there. He was playing with the water hose, right? And I'm like, put the water hose up. So he grabbed it and started spinning in a circle. And I'm like, man, what the hell is you doing? He wrapping himself in it, right? Now I got a wheel to put the water hose on. So he know how to put it on the wheel. So I'm looking like, what is this little crazy boy doing? He wrapped the whole hose up, climbed out of it, took it and put it on the wheel. And I'm looking like, I got an insane genius. And it's like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but kids have no, the limitate, they don't know limits yet. And like y'all both said in different
Yeah,
ways, we place fears, we place our own limitations on kids. And I agree with that, Karen. Let them fuck around and find out.
I
You
remember.
never know what you can do until you try it.
Yeah. True.
exactly.
I
And
remember
I'll
when.
just add that, like you
Yeah.
said,
Go. Yeah. Yeah.
limitations, but I said fears as well, right? Because I mean, the world beats you down as an adult, right? Like it does, and you always have to fight for that positivity, that true positivity, and that true goal. Almost like you're looking at yourself as a kid and trying to remind yourself of what's going on, right? And regardless of your current situation, you have to look through it and look past it and actually make your current situation, visually what you need it to be, right? It always works out if you remain consistent. But when we put things too early on kids, I mean, you see it all the time. It's like, I'm not trying to make you the next Michael Jackson or Janet Jackson or, whoever, like, even when it comes to the scientists and things like that, that we really respect and revere, for a little ARD, I said, "Look, you're already better than all of that, right?" She literally knows that, and it's like, okay, let's show me what Daddy got to do and Mommy got to do, and we're gonna figure it out, right? one thing I found from little ARD, and it reminded me coming from a big household, is kids really know what they want to do in a way, but they don't know how to express it. So as an adult, as a parent, you have to like put them in a few things, and then also whatever they're interested in, be able to bring that back home. Like for instance, little ARD was into gymnastics and everything, so I brought the gymnastics to the house. Right, literally everything we did with the instructors and everything at the expensive gym or less expensive gym. I took little ARD to Oaktown. Shout out to my town people, and all that stuff. And I was like, man, we can do this at home, right? We can practice this, this, that, and the third. And that confidence in me taking that time, right? It was everything. So next time little ARD showed up and it was like, boom, they was cooking with grease, right? And it was even with um something as small as ballet class or, this robotic stuff that we got her in. And I was like, man, like we bring it home, right? Even though I can't afford everything, quote unquote, I was like, man,
Nice,
we're going to figure out how to make it at home so we can practice
mate.
at home. And what that did not only instill confidence because we're bringing it home, but also when they went out again, man, like they were shutting lights out. Like literally, they were on point, like an arrow, like for real. And I was like,
Oh,
man, it's one
that's
thing to
fake,
tell
brother.
somebody you can't do it because of your limitations. It's another thing to tell, especially a kid that really knows they can do anything with the right focus and the right environment, right? And that's the point that I was saying. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that you just reminded me of something. When my kids were in their teens, um, I was doing a bit of freelance photography. I sort of taught myself digital photography online, and I always had a bit of a
I didn't know
creative
you were in
streak.
photography. I literally just bought a camera, for little
Oh,
ARD too.
well,
Yeah.
is it Canon or Nikon?
No, so I have both, right? I bought little
Oh,
ARD a Canon though. I just got
yeah,
her the what is it what is this one? Uh, the R series. It's like not like the full. It's the R series. I
yeah,
didn't
it's
get
all
her
right.
the
Look,
Mark III or the Mark
no,
Five.
no, no.
I got her the what was it the E3. That's what it was. Like the new
Yeah,
E3. Yeah.
maybe don't give a kid a $5,000 camera. Yeah. So but the thing was yeah, well the thing about photography was I always enjoyed photography as a kid, but I was too lazy to get involved with dark rooms and chemicals. I waited until it became digital, and then I went wild. I was pretty familiar with Photoshop already. I'd done some creative work in the past,
Fair.
but the point I was
Yeah.
making was with my daughter. So I was into photography,
So
and she
I
was
own
showing
the
me.
Liking. They want
Come on,
everything.
ARD.
I
Hold
you
on,
got to
bro.
buy it on your own.
ARD, let him finish speaking, bro. Let him finish speaking. Go ahead.
That's cool, man. It's cool,
Go
man.
ahead.
So I was doing some freelance photography, making a bit of money, like a paying hobby. And my daughter was showing an interest, so I had some lights and I had a backdrop and I had tripod and things like that, like a little studio equipment. But our house was really small, and what we would do, she wanted to learn photography. So what I do is on a Sunday, we'd move all the furniture out of the living room and turn it into a studio. And she'd invite some friends around. There was a young guy and a young girl. And this is all when they were like 15, 16. So they're all kind of finding their style. The boys all had their guitar hair and the girls all had their whatever it was the girls were into at the time. And she would set up some photo shoots between her friends and we'd set the lights up and all of that. And I'd help her to, how to sort of set things up. And she's gone on, like she doesn't work in photography, but these days her children play rugby and she goes down there and does photographs, and now she sells the photographs to the parents and does promotional stuff for the club. And I bumped into one of the young guys who come around one time to be a part of the photo shoot. I bumped into him about 10 years later. He was like 27. He was working somewhere I walked into and I said, "Oh, how you going?" He goes, "Good, good. Haven't seen him for 10 years." he said to me, the photo that Meredith took of me is still on my mum's fridge. My mum thinks it's the best photo of me ever. And I thought, damn.
Wow. That's
I
super
thought that.
dope.
What I found, the funny thing I found, this goes back to who was it? Was it here? The word, yeah, blind. Blind asked me the damn question I ask everybody: are you a good person? And I think last night, and this is coming back to me now. When I was doing photography, I had a bit of a knack. I had a bit of a knack for bringing out the best side of someone in a portrait, right? Like Ard's beautiful avatar right there, right? I had a knack for doing that, for helping someone to produce. I would set the lights up and tell them I'm just taking a few test shots. So just chill out. I'm just, the lights will flash. Look at me. I'm just doing some test shots. I was doing the shoot then. And normally in that process, I would get the photo. Then I had to spend 15 more minutes pretending I'm taking photos because I've already got it. Because as soon as they thought they had to perform, like the worst way to make someone smile is to say smile. Right. The best way, when I was doing, God, I'm rambling now. This is all free association. When I spent a bit of time working for a guy who did school photos. The kids turn up and you got to take all the school photos one by one like a production line. His technique was a little girl would walk up, stand in front of the camera. He didn't say smile. He just said, "Have you got a puppy?" And her face would light up and he'd go, "Click, right, see you up next." Right? So I was really
that's cold-blooded right there.
Yeah, right. That's ruthless, right?
That's cold-blooded.
But the point I'm getting at is one of the real joys of doing that job was these, especially women, men as well, but especially women. I don't want to see myself on camera. I don't want to see photos, blah, blah, blah. I'd show them a photo and they kind of go, "Ooh, that's actually, I kind of look pretty good," right? So that was a real joy to have people see their own photo and go, "Actually, okay. I see what you're doing there."
Right?
I think that's the nicest thing you ever said about women.
I was gonna say it's empowerment too, right?
The night's young.
Even with little ARD, one thing I can even say, right? Even with little ARD, right? I just told you about the E3, right? The new one. It's nothing better than having a snapshot photo, right? That actually could produces film. And you got to kind of, fan it out, right? And all that stuff, because they actually take more precision and look into the lens itself. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. It's not about you becoming a photographer, right? It's about you being able to tell a story. You have to tell your story. You have to be able to sell a story. And you have to be able to see a story, right? And
Yeah,
you
brother.
can take that anywhere in the industry. I don't care where you live. Everybody loves a good story, right?
Yeah, bro. I think it was Ansel Adams, the photographer, who said something like, "You don't take a photograph, you make one," right? And it's damn true. You picking the angle,
Yeah,
you're picking the
exactly.
right. You're waiting for the light to change. You're getting it just right. And also, you can. The thing is, it's not natural for us to see people's faces in a static state. If you watch someone who you're talking to, their face is changing every millisecond. They have no static. It's very unnatural for us to see. For example, again, like you are with your avatar right now, that expression you have right there lasted a millisecond because your face is always changing. Your eyes move a little bit. I used to, when I was kind of somebody wanted like a bit more of a professional shot and they were going for a certain look, I used to say to them, "Okay, look at me, turn a little bit this way. Keep your mouth where it is, but smile with your eyes." And people can do it. They can adjust the edges of their eyes a little. Yeah, right. So you can get someone to sit there and you can take, 8 frames a second, click, 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 click on auto. You can still miss that moment.
Yeah.
You can still miss that moment, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
And the other thing
you
like
can
about
even see it right in this profile here, right?
Yeah, I know. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
It's solid, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things is I look like that. I'm not gonna say all the time, but I am who I am, right? And
Yeah, bro.
that's nobody else's avatar. That's if you guys want to know, you get to see, in real life, right? But that's who I am, right? But when they took it, they also took another one because I was in the line for this thing called 30 under 30, and we took other photos and stuff like that. And I was like, man, this reminds me of my videography, photography days, because it's about
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
a story. You can tell a whole story with a photo. You really can.
You
And even
sure
if they
can.
don't even understand the story behind the smile or the story behind the picture, they create one on their own. And then
Yeah, I was
it's
just gonna
just
say
like,
that.
Netflix, right? Like, and this is what character really is. It's what you were and how you were and what you do today compared to people creating a whole image and a whole story and timeline off of
Yeah, bro.
one single thing, right? And that's what I love
Well, you
about
see
that.
that?
Yeah.
You see my avatar on the motorbike?
You said what?
Can you see it? My avatar on screen. Can you see it where I'm riding the motorbike?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah.
Have a guess. Have a guess how I got that photo. my my my
I
daughter
thought that
was in
was
the back
actually
of.
like a Shutterstock photo. I didn't know if that was
No,
you or
no,
not.
it's me. That's me, bro. Yeah, no. My daughter was in the back of her boyfriend's truck, and
Wow.
we're going through a winding country road, and she didn't realize how hard it would be to hang on. So she was rolling around in the back of the truck, hanging on with one hand, taking photos out the back of it while I was riding the bike.
All right, so that's
Because
legit, right? You didn't even know the
that's what.
story, right? Because I thought it was Shutterstock.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. All my pictures are original. so,
Nice. Much
so it's
respect.
like,
Much respect.
but the thing is, like, that's the thing when you engage with your kids and you set up projects and you make that about. I think you guys were talking before about, spending all your time at work. And then you go, well, it's the weekend, so we have to mow the lawn, got to wash the car, got to. Nah, the weekend, moving the furniture out of the lounge room, and we'll turn it into a photo studio, right? that's,
That's
that's
a
the stuff
fact.
that life.
Yeah.
That's what life's made of, man. Because it's going to go. It's going to go. You'll have plenty of time later to, like for myself, like I said, they were all 1 year apart. So within 3 years, they're all gone. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
They all moved out,
No. Oh
right?
yeah.
So
And this is what actually it reminded me because I had a real cold situation happen again, and it reminded me of moments. Those are photos. Momentum, right? Those are movements plus photos, and then you got monuments as well, right? And monuments, of course, is it's a whole nother beast, right? Because you don't really need photos alone or experiences. Monuments, you can always go back and see. Whenever you think about it, it'll be there, and it brings you right back. I know I just said a lot with that, but when I think about those moments, right, we capture those
yeah,
momentum, right? We capture those, but it comes with experience. And then monuments are things that exist, and it just brings you already back, right? And I challenge people to think, what are we trying to create? Because everything doesn't deserve a monument, but whatever you're trying to last with should have some type of monumental factor to it, in my opinion. But I was just high level though. Yeah.
Frankie, what up, though? The word,
Frankie
you got some money to
Blanco.
respect.
oh,
Frankie
really? I missed it.
Blanco.
I missed it.
Oh, hold on.
Work out the money, work out the money, work out the juice. 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 Work out the money, work out the juice.
Word, there's something about. Oh, sorry, right? Yeah, there's something about when you play that video, that little kid, that little boy in the club, just fucking owning it. There's something about that just makes me smile every time. I just love seeing little dudes just fucking not being gangster. I want to use the word gangster, but I don't mean gangster. I mean just owning it. Stoic, I was wondering where you were, brother. So if I was in chat, Stoic, I'd pay a few
What up,
bucks to watch the
Stoic? What
Stoic.
up, Nine?
I'd pay a few bucks to watch the Stoic video just because I want to see myself dance. That's the only reason. You know?
Oh, you can still see yourself dance without the Stoic video. Hold on, I got this one.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Said do it for the 9.
Keyword is consistency, right? Sometimes you just want to crash out.
It follows.
I don't agree with your tactic. I don't agree with your tactic.
You let me finish sentences be like fucking interrupt me because you know you're fucking wrong.
Sometimes you just want to crash out. Sometimes you just want to crash out. Sometimes you just want to crash out.
What's your real shit? If I came the first round, slap the dog pull out of shot. Fuck you think you is, boy? Take my comments to weakness, you got me fucked up. Once you got me fucked up, you got me fucked up.
Oh my god. Why you do me like that, bro?
Bill, going live for Stoic. Here you go, bro. In my bathrobe, doing the thing. The onion dance. What my name? Right now.
He's signing his name for you.
You got
Holy
me fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I like where
Holy
Rachel,
crap.
she's like, ay, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío.
You know,
He's hilarious.
Stoic.
I ain't
Every
even
time I see
finished that one yet.
Every time I see that bloke in the road, I have to just check myself and go, like, is that something I did? I can't remember.
Yeah, you did that. You did that. So I have something to say on topic. I've been waiting to say on that subject about parents having the limitations on their kids, because the opposite could happen where they have too much expectation on their kids, and then you get a child that either because the parent, like I did that as a child, so you should be able to do it, and then now you got a kid that's crying or like doesn't even want to do baseball anymore because I don't know if you've seen that where the parents are like yelling at their kid, like you got to do better, you got to do like this, you got. Maybe the father was into baseball and maybe the kid's not, or maybe he's a has-been, never made it, and has too high expectations,
I was gonna
trying
say
to
that
live
too,
through their
Mango.
children.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
Yeah.
You know,
Carl Jung, sorry guys,
hey, may I
just
say
I'll say
something?
one.
Actually, Commando, did you finish? Because I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I know I finished.
Yeah, I think
No,
you're totally right.
you cut
Right,
me off, bro.
placing the
I'm playing.
expectations of where you like anything that you didn't do or you're doing great compared to how you were raised. If you place those expectations on your kids, that's one thing. But if you don't allow them to be great on their own, I mean, come on, like
Yeah, bro.
it's not gonna end up well, right? And for me, I think that I don't know. I feel like we were raised in a certain era where, you had to respect that era, right? But I also know my era is not the same era these days, nor would it be in the
Exactly.
future era, right? So trying to think ahead on what the future era will require, I only know the basics, right? The fundamentals of. I know every era will require the fundamentals, right? And the fundamentals are, first of all, it's integrity, it's character, hard work, right? I sound like a movie, but it's really
Nah,
not.
preach.
It's
brother.
really the
Yeah.
fundamentals, and then they can take it wherever they want, right? But also introducing them and exposing them, and then honestly, one of my standards It's probably the only standard that I will ever put on anybody. I mean, I don't care if you're my child or not. And that's excellence and nothing less, you know. And regardless
Yeah,
of
bro.
what you pursue to do, I mean, you have to do it with excellence. What does excellence mean? It doesn't mean perfection, right? Excellence actually means, in a way, to be flawless, but being, I would say, essential, right? Making yourself essential to what the needs are. And excellence also means that we're not lazy to a point where you're expecting something that you didn't work for, right? I think I don't care what generation, I mean, every generation is going to require hard work. Every generation is going to require character. And every generation is going to require you to be unique, to yourself. You have to trust yourself, right? And with that, when you instill those principles in a way, I honestly believe they can't fail. Even when they fall down, they still can't fail because they know what to do, right? What do you
You
think
know,
on
brother.
that, Commander? Yeah, go ahead.
King Blackout, what up though? He says
Yeah,
striving
you're
is
up.
thriving.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're taking the words out of my mouth. Just want to throw one little quote out there and then say something in response to what you said. The quote was from Carl Jung, and it went something like, "Children will live out their parents' unlived dreams." Right?
Yeah,
Whether they mean it
exactly,
or
right. You're trying to
whether they
put your
mean it or
dreams
not.
on them, right?
Yeah,
Or you're
even though
trying
you
to
know,
do,
even
yeah.
but the big
Even if you
challenge,
got successful or lucky or whatever your dream was, you're trying to put something on
correct,
somebody that
has
you're
no
not
idea.
you're not listening to, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
also, I think the biggest challenge I found raising kids was, I think throughout most of human history, apart from things like revolutions and wars, generally through human history, kids grew up in the same cultural and social environment that their parents grew up in. So if you ran a farm and your kids work on the farm, and then you hand it on to them, and then they hand it on to their kids, and the community's fairly similar all around. In the modern world, the world that my kids grew up in was not like the world I grew up in. It was an entirely different, like
Yeah,
entirely.
environment. Yeah.
So I
Or
was born in
era.
1970. I was born in 1970. So the internet become a thing, like a proper thing, where people at home buy a computer and join the internet about 1994. I was 24 years old. So my childhood had no internet, had no smartphones. My kids grew up in an era where there's smartphones and internet. So, excuse me. So how am I supposed to know how to help them navigate that? I went back to what you just said. You fall back on basic principles. Now, you said yours is excellence. My dad instilled in me. He instilled in me so hard. Do not lie. Simple as that. Like, whatever you do in your life, do not lie. And it's challenging, but it's also been, I think it's borne fruit over the years, right? I really can't. Like, if I take a day off work because I don't feel like going to work, and I don't go to the doctor and pretend and get a certificate. I'll just own it and say to the boss, "Hey, listen, I just didn't feel like going to work." and sometimes he'll go, "Well, I kind of respect that." He goes, "Good on you." Right? And I go, "Well, shit, that worked out okay." Right? So, and I think it's something again that Jordan Peterson said. Tell the truth and see what happens. That's the real adventure of life, because a lot of people fall into a framework or a format where they're kind of, you could copy and paste the conversations. You could just copy and paste it. We're just going through the motions. How you going? Yeah, I'm doing good. What's happened? Yeah, not much. Just going through this. But if you actually tell the truth, you'd be really surprised what actually happens. It opens up the field of potential in front of you, and you have no idea what's going to happen. It's kind of exciting. What do you guys think?
Man, just listening to y'all.
I agree.
Even about the fundamentals, right? my pops told me I was never able to make excuses, right? So even that, bore fruit immediately, and it's still doing now because me teaching my kids that, and not making excuses, you can't lie. You know what I'm saying? It takes lying out of things. Lying to yourself, lying to other people, and it just go back to the prompt of the video. What you made of, and just sitting back listening to y'all talk. I done learned so much about both of y'all, man. Just learned so much about both of y'all without even asking questions. Just listening to y'all talk about different situations and scenarios, and it's just giving me, a deeper perspective of who y'all are. So I even appreciate that.
Okay, I want to give a testimony about what we're doing here and how it impacts. Karen was saying how Blind asked him the question about being a good person. That's something that I got from you. And then I was on Blind's channel having a conversation with him, and I said, hey, there's this guy Ozzy, and this is kind of what he's doing, is asking questions. And so then I asked it to him, and it's basically like it went around back to you again.
And full circle.
So like his channel had it, so his chat had the question, right? His chat had the question, that they had to ask themselves. And then, now Blind's asking the question probably to other people as well, but because obviously it came back around to you. I don't know that he put 2 and 2 together when I said Ozzy, because he didn't acknowledge if he knew who that was, but that's funny, huh? You make an impression.
I keep changing my names, but I
Hey,
really
we're talking
appreciate
about
that.
character, right? Everything is everything. Everything is everything.
That's crazy.
Hey, Commander, what your testimony proved?
Yeah, what we say up here matters.
A better use, a better us. I mean, Ozzy posed a question, you took it somewhere else, and look what all those conversations brought out of people. I think it definitely is a testimony. Definitely a testimony. Hey, Ozzy, so I got a boy named Nate, right? ARD, Nate the Great.
Of course.
And Nate,
the greatest.
Now check this out. So he think he better than editing than me, right? He calls himself the AI guy, but I call myself the clip guy. So he said something else. So he brought some more out of me. This is just a rough draft, but I'm putting the movie together. This is the second part I want to show y'all.
Jesus. All right.
Well, what's going on, my guy? I'm glad you popped up in here. I told your ass I had a drop for your ass too. Don't
He will never learn.
Oh, Nate the Great.
You work for me now, Gabe.
You're talking about somebody else. My bad. Nate the Great. I ain't seen Nate the Great in a minute.
I'm the puppet master. You listen to me.
Oh, little tank, ain't that a bitch?
And I got it mixed up. Yeah, I remember Nate the Great now. God dang, why you gotta do it like that?
well, it looks like Nate the Great's got. Looks like Nate's got some work to do, bro. Because that's
bro. Those
rough
drafts. Shout out to Big Gary Bustdown, man. Like for real.
It's like in the old days, you walk up to a man and you take off your glove and you slap his face. I challenge you to a duel, right? And at some point early in that video, I just heard dun 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 dun. Can't touch this.
Hey, this is the funny thing, right? I did not want to use that song for that because that song is that's the song I found for your edit. So I'm still using that song for your. Hold on, I think that's the song. Hold on, I got it in my.
Oh yeah,
Well, you see now,
yeah. You definitely
now,
had that same song for. I seen him in the edit too. It's all
now
love.
I've got to be careful. Now I've got to be careful what I say.
Nah, not now. You're doing great.
Yeah, you gonna be dancing to this, Karen. I already got some good clips of it. I approve this. I can't wait to have that. I approve this. Like, okay, yeah,
Holy
you
shit!
approve it. No, now you got to be careful what you about to approve. I'm about to put some unscrupulous shit up there. Like, I approve this. I'm just playing. I ain't gonna do you like that.
Man, I thought we left the petty master behind, man. What's going on?
Look, I'm petty God. They just don't know yet, bro. Like, people don't know, man. I'm the petty God, bro. I told them that from the get. Look, man, I ain't never lied about who I said I was and who I be. Like, even what are you made of? Are you presented? I always told people on here, I'm only what you allow me to be. I always told people I'm an asshole. I always told people I'm petty God. I always told y'all I'm go clip you. I always said all those things. I've never lied.
One of my
And I always did what I said I was gonna do.
one of my favorite songs is "Asshole" by Dennis Leary. It's fucking hilarious. But you know, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so I've got to pick the low hanging fruit. You know, don't hold it against me.
All right. You gotta be on that show that they just started again. What's it called? Naked and Afraid? Lowest hanging fruit? All right, you'll survive out there.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it just came
Naked
up
and
on
Afraid.
it just came up on my YouTube. Yeah.
That's the show, Naked and Afraid. That's the one I've been telling Ozzy.
So
Oh,
I'm
Naked and Afraid.
I'm
Yes,
pretty
yes.
cool with the fan of it all, right? And I seen it on the YouTube, and I just binged everything about the series, and I was like, "Yo, this is what we do in real life."
What's the premise of the
But
show?
I'm not naked out there, right? Pause.
Survival.
Yeah.
Survival skills.
It's
So what's the naked bit?
They get naked and survive.
Yeah, they
So
out
instead
there
of
for
getting just
real.
put on
They
an
Adam and
island,
Eve and Adam and Steve or wherever you want to be. Like they got them
it's,
and all that, you know.
instead of just getting put on the island to survive, they strip them butt naked.
That's a way.
They
That's a way.
they
Kind
do
of
give
reminds
them
me.
a choice. Like you can have a
They
fire
do?
starter or you can have an
Oh
axe.
yeah.
Well, not of
Oh
clothes,
yeah,
but they
on your resources, right? You can
yeah, they give them
choose.
I'm
like they
taking
give
the
them like a little bag and then
yeah.
they
I'm
have a
taking the
Yeah.
choice
axe.
of
I'm taking the
Did you
axe
see
every
the
day of the
lady?
week.
Did you see the
No,
lady who brought the duct tape?
that's what when I found that show, Commando, I was like, man, look, this
yeah.
relates to real life for real. You know?
I I think they can bring one thing, right? Like so
Yeah,
she brought her
you can
duct tape.
pick. Yeah, she
Yeah,
hey
yeah.
man, she made shoes.
You
She
can
used
bring
it to start
everything but,
fire. I knew she was gonna do it to start fire though. I knew she was gonna do it
With
because
duct
I was
tape?
wondering. Yeah, you can start fire with
oh,
duct
that
tape.
that duct tape joint was
Yeah,
crazy.
you can
I saw
start
the
fire with
duct
duct
tape
tape.
one. I saw
The
that one, and I
adhesive,
was like, man,
the
because I was
adhesive
like,
is
man,
flammable.
this is some real, like Fisher Price. He did. I was like, man, and then when I seen
You,
how flammable it was, I
yeah,
saw
it's,
when she was doing all the tapestry, like having like what's it called, the what she have to string everything together. um it's not the Lannisters, but they call it something to like tie your whole structure together and everything, right? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, yo, lashings, right? Pause, lashings, right?
yeah. That's it. That's it. That's an
To
old
tie
sailor's
everything
term. Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, I was like, yo, that's kind of how I would be thinking too. But the thing that not really shown is how bit up you get, right? How crazy it really is. And then you got cameras in your face the whole
Mentally.
time, but they're not gonna help you.
I was showing my
You
wife how
gotta
to start.
love that because that's the life that we
Yeah,
live right now. Ain't nobody
I
gonna
was
help you with the cameras in your face. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I was showing my wife how to start a fire with a 9-volt battery and steel wool. I showed her like 3 or 4 different ways.
Nice.
But when she seen that,
So
she
you
was
put
like,
the coils there together, then with some wool or
"No,
something,
you
right?
you
Yeah,
stretch the wool out. You open the
yeah.
wool up.
Or
You just rub
cotton
it against.
even, right?
It'll start. Well, you need the steel wool to get the friction, get the spark, and then you take like a bird's
I
nest,
thought you was
right?
talking about
But
like one of them 9D batteries.
no, a 9-volt battery. No, a
Oh,
9-volt.
okay.
You take a 9-volt battery. You take some steel wool. You open it up, and you strike it against the wool. It'll spark up. But then you have like a bird's nest or something. But we use the linen from your dryer.
Yeah.
I use that.
Man, you can do that, man. You can do it one eye. I'm telling you.
I use that within. But I make fire starters too. I take like toilet paper rolls. I put newspaper in the linen from the dryer.
Yeah.
Take the candle wax and dip it in the candle wax and let it dry.
Look, and I
take a
respect
spark
that
to
too because I seen it really happen in real life, and I was like, man. And I was like, man, penitentiary rules. They're like, boy, I ain't been in jail. It just makes sense. I was like,
You watch
show me that.
if you
I
watch
was like, man, this is cold.
if you've seen the movie Gran Torino, one of the best movies of all time.
Filmed here in Michigan.
Only two things you need: duct tape and a can of WD-40. Because if it moves, ain't meant to, duct tape. If it's meant to move but it doesn't, WD-40. and you can spray your toilet rolls in WD-40 and they make great fire starters.
Ooh.
No, it's true. It smells a bit at the beginning, but you'll survive.
Hey man, I hate to cut this. My daughter, she is not going to sleep. My wife just texts me and asks me, "Can I please come get her?"
Yeah, it's cool, bro.
Good night, y'all. Good night,
y'all.
everyone.
Good
Much
night.
love.
Hey man, I appreciate you. I'm gonna try to pop back up tomorrow. I appreciate y'all
Beautiful.
coming up. Great conversation. I want to say something to the people before we leave. Karen, you know you got to.
Oh, come on. Well, you see, when chat's nice to me, it's difficult. But go on, chat. You assholes, get the fuck out of here. Go and do something with your life.
Go do something.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Always,
We'll talk to you later.
always. For sure, bro. For sure. Y'all have a good one, man. Y'all know what I always say. Care about how you feel. These are the conversations to create nation. And if I say anything to resonate with you, do me a favor. Hit that share button. Tell somebody. Help me spread the word. But until next time, we out. Well, we'll be out on let's go out on our brother Nate real quick.
Word, what's going on, my guy? I'm glad you popped up in here. I told your ass I had a drop for your ass too. Don't
He will never learn.
You work for me now, Gary.
I'm the puppet master. You listen to me.
Poor little tank, ain't that a bitch?